Respected Director, Institute of Food Science and Technology, Group Coordinator Research, Sri Shetapanavarji, esteemed participants who joined virtually from different parts of the country, my colleagues from IWST. On behalf of Institute of Food Science and Technology, I welcome all of you for this half-day webinar on identification, analysis, and adulteration of sandalwood and its oil. During last financial year, we conducted about 8 trainings on various aspects of sandalwood under the Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav initiative of Government of India. In fact, last month we organized one training for 3 days. That's in-person training in which more than 50 farmers participated and get benefited. And we are happy to say that most of the farmers who participated in-person training last month, they were happy and they have given very good feedback about the training. As you know that sandalwood is the second most costliest wood in the world. Lot of illegal trade is happening across the globe, both in its wood as well as in oil. Hence, adulteration of sandalwood and its oil is most common in the market. As sandalwood farmer, seller, and buyer, we need to know about the adulteration of sandalwood and its oil. IWST being a center of excellence in the field of sandalwood research and having more than 8 decades of research experience in sandalwood, we are happy to host this training to bring awareness among various stakeholders about the sandalwood adulteration. We hope that today's training program will benefit all the participants, including our farmers. In this today's webinar, we are having 5 technical sessions followed by question and answer sessions. I hope that most of you will benefit. With these few words, now I would request Dr. Suklaji, Head Wood and Property Utilization Division from our institute, to welcome all the participants. Over to Suklaji.
Thank you, sir. And good morning to all. This occasion, I extend my hearty welcome to our director, WST, Dr. MP Singh ji, Group Coordinator Research, Sri Tapanorji, all the head of divisions present here and also joined online, all officers, my colleagues from IWST, the guest speaker from ASDL, all the officials from different departments and wood-based industries, sandalwood growers from different states, faculties from the colleges, students, and all the participants joining online to this webinar, which is on the topic identification, analysis, and adulterants of sandalwood and its oil. It's a very important topic, and we being at Institute of Food Science and Technology, having sandalwood research as one of the specialized field. As we know that in our ancient mythical scriptures, the sandalwood tree has been considered as divine and supernatural. Even Lord Buddha once described sandalwood tree as sandalwood, tegra, lotus, jasmine. The fragrance of virtue is unrivaled by such kind of perfumes. Even Gurudev Rabindranath Tagore says once, the sandalwood tree
important questions, and these questions I have picked from
likely to prove sweetest that can even conquer hate, love, and perfumes the cruel axe that lays it down. That was the words from Gurudev Rabindranath Tagore. So this shows the importance of the sandalwood and its different products in our society. As we know that sandalwood is a commercially and culturally important plant species, especially in India. This is one of the most valuable trees in the world. Its products are used across the globe. And this tree is associated with Indian culture, and hardwood of this tree is treasured for its aroma and is one of the finest natural materials for carving. It is highly valuable and becoming endangered species. The sandalwood tree flourishes in regions where the climate is cool with moderate rain, plentiful sunshine, and long periods of dry weather. It is distributed all over the country, but more than 90% lies in Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Kerala, and Andhra Pradesh, covering around more than 500 square kilometers. The monopolies of sandalwood trade by the state governments and its consequences have resulted in severe exploitation, pushing it into the vulnerable category of IUCN Red List. India, being rich in culture, history, and traditions, has been one of the major producers and suppliers of sandalwood and its product in the world. It plays an important role in the religious life of Indians. The sandalwood is valued in carving because of its dense and unique characteristics. Its whitish color, as well as the internal structure, is very suitable for making the handicrafts and carvings. In addition, the wood and its powder are being used for religious and medicinal purposes, as well as in food industry in India. The tree are, although the tree are slow growing and usually takes about 30 years or more for the hardwood to become economically useful. At the same time, the sandalwood oil is extracted from the hardwood by steam distillation process, and average yield of the oil ranges from 3% to 6%. The sandalwood oils comes from the wood as well as from the roots of the sandalwood tree. The sandalwood oil has been used in traditional medicines as an antiseptic and pharmaceutical applications for treatment of diseases like headache, stomachache, urinary disorders, also being used in perfumery industry, cosmetics, aromatherapy. The sweet, powerful, and lasting odor and has made sandalwood oil useful in perfume industry, soap, candles, incense, folk medicines, and cultural purposes. So, sandalwood is important for export product also and is highly traded illegally in the international market. It provides significant cash incomes and adds a considerable value to the national economy. This wood is highly expensive and used not only in medicines but also in various industrial purposes. Hence, it is being overexploited from their natural habitats and also being adulterated with similar kind of wood which are looks like sandal but they are not sandalwood. Sandalwood, as we know, that illegally being smuggled and sandalwood mafias and many times adulterated with alike species. We should use the right species for right application at the right price. Hence, identification of sandalwood is important, and quality of its oil is also very important. So in this context, the present webinar is being organized, which focuses on various aspects of sandalwood, its identification through anatomical structure, its adulterants in form of sandalwood species, as well as adulteration of the sandalwood oil, its quality assessment, grade of sandalwood oil and its application in different products, and KSDL, we have invited KSDL to highlight on these aspects. Finally, the determination of amount of hardwood in standing sandalwood trees by using the ERT technique, so resistance technique. A non-invasive technique will be presented and discussed in today's webinar. So this is in brief, and for the benefits of our participant, I would like to also inform that Institute keeps organizing short-term trainings, workshop, webinar on different aspects of growing sandalwood, such as nursery techniques, sandalwood-based agroforestry systems, silvicultural practices, pest control, and their management. IWST has already launched a database on sandalwood information system on its website, which is available and can be consulted at any point of time. So I request all the participants to kindly keep visiting IWST website for any updates on sandalwood training and other related informations. Recently, one of the IWST quarterly publication, Wood is Good, July-September 21 issue was fully devoted on sandalwood, which is freely available soft form in our institute website. So with this brief background, on behalf of IWST, I welcome all the participants and extend my best wishes for the success of today's webinar. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sukla Saab, for briefing the participants about importance of the sandalwood and its trade and adulteration. Thank you very much. Now I would request our GCR sir to make quick opening remarks. Over to sir.
Morning, friends. Respected Director, my colleague. This in our on identification trends of sandalwood oil. On that, sandalwood is a highly an essential oil called sandalwood. Determining the authenticity of sandalwood and its oil is different. Detection in wood not only become taste and fragrance sector, but it is also being approved for use in sandalwood adulteration, commonly found in India's commercial market. Nepal sandalwood, Osiris, yeah, and Indian bastard sandal, that is Erythroxylum monogynum. It's difficult to tell the difference between the Osiris and Indian sandalwood because both species have a comparable grain or color, and the scent are similar with a slight difference. Sandalwood is adulterated with the hardwood, which is a highly pressed also with a slight fragrance. The reddish brown hardwood of this is the erythroxylum, that is Indian bastard sandalwood, which has a pleasant odor, is also used in adulterants such as polyethylene glycol, castor oil, coconut oil, and other hands, there are non-volatile and highly boiling components that cannot be detected by GCFID or GCMS in sandalwood oil. Furthermore, because vegetable oils are inexpensive, they are frequently employed as adulterants in essential oils. Due to proper miscibility and non-detection by the GLC, merchants are now employing readily accessible vegetable oil or low-cost synthetic polymers, such as PEG, polyethylene glycol, as adulterants in sandalwood essential oils. The reduction in forest cover area and overexploitation of this species are the cause of the adulteration and resulting in a demand-supply gap. Due to the great demand on sandalwood, there is a severe shortage which leads to the adulteration by the illegal traffickers. Many studies are being carried out to identify sandalwood and its oil. Anatomical analysis, molecular tools such as DNA barcoding and near-infrared spectroscopy, and the multivariate calibration models such as principal component regression and partial least square methods. These are some of the methods separate the sandalwood and adulterants. IWST also conducting various research on identifying sandalwood and its oil, and we have a techniques for this also. I conclude my words. I also thank for giving up us.
Thank you very much, sir, for highlighting the importance of adulteration of sandalwood and its oil, and also the work which we have done in the past 8 decades, especially for the sandalwood promotion as well as identification of adulterants. Now I would request our director for the inaugural address. Over to you, sir.
Beginning with Director Sir Shukla have put so that details the identification aspects of file. Technical session has been really well organized. I hope that participants benefited lectures mentioned by Head Extension Division have been organizing aspects of sandalwood with the objective to promote sandalwood cultivation. Sandalwood is habitat close to our culture since the beginning of our civilization. It's our prime duty undertake expansion of sandalwood India. University wishes that the organization connected with the forestry, they forward ready to training for the trainers so that they undertake training in their own regions and promote species. Adding a few areas, these species can be grown throughout the country. You need to just come forward, learn the techniques, decide, undertake plantation species. Apart from the commercial cultivation, it can be promoted in every household, yard, orchard, species can be planted. So, learning techniques for cultivation related to farming of this species. Also important about the commercial aspects, negative aspects, which happens with the sandalwood. I are great success, great learning participants.
Thank you very much, sir, for your encouraging words to promote sandalwood cultivation in this country. With this, we conclude the inaugural session. At the outset, I would like to thank our director and GCR and my colleagues and all the participants for attending this inaugural session. With this, I hand over mic to Ms. Vanati to conduct the technical session.
Everyone. First presentation for today is done by Dr. M. Sujata. Madam has completed MSc Botany and had done doctorate in Forest Botany. Madam has put in a service of 32 years in anatomy and has published 30 papers and 4 books. Madam was awarded Lifetime Meritorious Award by ICFRE.
Vanati. Good morning, everybody. Today I will be talking identification of hardwoods by way of wood anatomical approach. This is general identification, how hardwoods are identified. Whenever we see standing trees, we look at the flowers, fruits, bark, leaves, etc. and will identify the trees. Once it is made into a log form, our leaves, everything is removed and a piece of wood is given to us. Some timbers, when we see regularly, such timbers we can identify it, and not all. So what we do is, in such cases, for identification, we study internal structure of wood. We study the wood anatomy. Since the trade is in form of timber logs, cut sizes, and final products, the traditional morphological character of these taxa, that is leaves, flowers, fruits, are absent, and identification of the timber must be done on the wood itself. Traditionally, all identification has been done using anatomical characters. One is by macroscopic method and other by seeing microscopic characters. For that, what we need is, whenever we are seeing any sample, we should have one folding lens, which is 10x magnification, small saw, chisel and hammer, and a small sharp blade. For making, we have to make one convenient size sample. For that, we need all these things. Whenever we see sample, first we look at the general features. That is color we see. All the timbers, it is having its own color. The outer lighter color would we call it as sapwood, and the inner central dark color portion we call it hardwood. Whenever we tell color, we have to see the central portion, that is hardwood color we have to see. And then next we have to see the weight. Weight we cannot take balance and weigh. Just we can hold the small sample in our hand. Then we can feel it whether it is light, heavy, or medium. Then hardness we have to see, texture we have to see, odor we have to see, luster, grain. All these things comes in general features. Coming to anatomical features, there are two types. One is macroscopy without the help of microscope, with the help of hand lens. Next method is microscopy. Under microscope, we study the anatomical characters, then we'll tell what it is. When we see colors of wood, so many colors are there. So by looking at the colors, to some extent we can tell for, what wood it is. For example, rosewood, by seeing color we can tell, sandal we can tell, teak we can tell, paddock we can tell. Color gives some hint. Then hardness. Hardness, some woods are soft to very soft. How we test this means, if we just press with our nail means, if the finger impression falls on the wood means it is soft. Then next comes moderately hard. It is not easily indented. When we press our nail on the wood, if the finger it is indented means it is moderately hard. Or hard to very hard. Some timbers like red sanders, rosewood, they're very hard. Even though we put pressure and press, indent, it is difficult. Our nail impression won't fall on that. In such case, it is very hard to very hard. Weight, we classify it under 3 categories. Below 550 kg per cubic meter is light. Moderately heavy means 550 to 750 kg per cubic meter. More than 750 kg cubic meter comes under heavy to heavy group. Then luster we have to see. Luster is in wood is ability of wood surface to reflect light when viewed from different angles. Then we see texture. It depends upon the size of the cells and the distribution and proportion of the various types of cells. Again, in this we categorize fine, medium and coarse. When we touch wood and the cross section, if it is fine texture, if the vessels are very small, then it is fine texture. If the vessels and other wood elements are medium in size, then we can feel it as medium. If it is very hard or something like that, means it is coarse. For example, sandalwood, it is having very small pores, so it is fine texture. Teak and all, it comes under medium like that. Grain is in wood. Grain refers only to the general direction or alignment of cells, depending on the actual alignment of the wood elements. Grain may be straight, spiral, or interlocked. And one more thing we test is fluorescence. This is not present in all woods, only in few wood it is present. For example, when we take Pterocarpus marsupium, that is trade name bijasol, if we put a piece of wood in water, after 5-10 minutes or 2 minutes, it is having one yellow coloring matter. That yellow coloring matter, it dissolves in water. So like this, when you see in one glass of water, we put brown color or yellowish color will get, and the top we get blue color. That we call it as fluorescence. In case of bijasol. Whereas in case of Pterocarpus santallinus red sanders, we have to boil that sample for half an hour. Then this color comes, this fluorescence we get. Only in some timbers, this is also a very important test. For identification, we need one blade and 10x hand lens. First, we have to cut the sample. See, for seeing under hand lens or under microscope, first we have to make one small size, convenient size block, which has to be in that growth rings should be very clear. Whenever we are making cut, it should be fine cut, or else that tissues will get torn off. And sufficient, when we are observing sample and with the help of lens, sufficient light should fall on that. And when doing, we are observing, 2 ways we have to observe. First, without water, we have to see. We can put little water on the top of the cross section. Then we can see the characters. Some timbers, after putting water, the characters will be more visible. For seeing in gross level, first we have to see. For that, we have to make perfect block, cross, radial, tangential. We have to cut and see the under my hand lens. Most of the characters for identification, it is visible on the cross section. Only in few cases, we have to see tangential side. For the ripple marks, in case of Dalbergia species and Pterocarpus species and others. Whenever we are seeing growth ring should be, we see where the growth ring is present. This is whatever photographs you are seeing, this is microscopic observation. With the help of lens, we can see the characters, what type of growth ring is present, and then whether it is distinct or not distinct, whether it is ring porous or diffuse porous, whether it is hardwood or softwood, like that we have to see. Then we have to see the pattern of parenchyma, vessels, and rays. By looking at this, this is how microscopic observation is done. We by holding the sample in the left hand, and in the right hand we have to hold the lens, then observe all the characters, and by looking at these characters, we can with our knowledge we can tell what wood it is. For microscopic identification, when we receive the sample, we have to observe the same way we have to observe under hand lens, then make one small block. This will boil in water. Sometimes if the wood is soft, means 1 or 2 days enough. If it is very hard wood like red sanders or Dalbergia sisu, we have to boil for 15 days. Then with the help of sliding microtome, we have to cut sections, cross radial tangential, and we have to make slides. Sometimes we make permanent slides, sometimes temporary slides we make, and we observe under microscope. We note down the characters. General characters first we note down, then anatomical characters we note down. Then we have our reference slides, authentic slides. We compare with that, and we give the report. Coming to woods, there are 2 types of wood. One is non-porous wood and other one is porous. Non-porous means woods from conifers. They are also called as softwoods or gymnosperms. Porous wood angiosperms. That is wood also called as hardwood. Softwood and hardwood, it is nothing to do with the softness or hardness. It's generally termed like that. Not all softwoods are soft, not hardwoods are all hard to work. Softwood means that is conifers. They are all needle-shaped leaves. The hardwood means broad leaves, broad size leaves are called hardwoods or angiosperms. How do we, whenever we first see the sample, first we have to see whether it is hardwood or softwood. That is, softwood means non-porous wood, hardwood means porous wood. How do we differentiate? We have to cut a small, with the help of knife, we have to give a cut. Then we have to see. If it is softwood, vessels are absent. Whatever round structure you are seeing, difference between hardwood and softwood is, in hardwood we see vessels or pores. Whatever round structure you are seeing in the third photograph, it is vessels or pores, and the parallel lines are rays. And we see fibers, it is ground tissue. Then parenchyma will be there. In hardwoods, vessels are there, parenchyma is there, fibers is there, rays are present. Whereas in case of softwood, vessels are absent. Non-porous means pores absent. Then fibers absent. And then rays are fine. Whereas in hardwood, rays, it is broad, medium, and fine. Whereas in softwood, rays are fine. Parenchyma, it is absent or In some only it is present. That's how it is differentiated. Softwood means absence of vessels. Hardwood means presence of pores or vessels. Then in case of softwood, only tracheids is present. Most of the function is done by mechanical support as well as conduction is done by tracheids. Rays are fine. Parenchyma absent or not much. Whatever you are seeing in the second picture, that is resin canals. It is present only in case of Pinaceae family. That is Pinus, Deodar, Spruce, like that. This is a three-dimensional view of teak, that is hardwood. In the cross section, we can see growth rings, then vessels, rays, parenchyma, and fibers. In the tangential section, we can see rays. In the cross section, rays are in parallel lines perpendicular to growth ring. Same rays in the tangential section, they look like ribbon, spindle shape. Same rays, spindle shape rays in tangential section. In the radial section, they look like ribbon type. This is a three-dimensional view of wood, showing cross, radial, and tangential. Whenever we do maceration, means or the wood we make small pieces, then this will boil in water. Then after that water will throw, and then again potassium chlorate and nitric acid we put, and then macerate it. So when we do this process, it will all the wood elements they get separated. So this is how it looks. That lines, spindle fibers you are seeing, no, it has separated. When first we have to see whether the wood is softwood or hardwood. Then if it is hardwood, if the vessels are present, next step is we have to first see whether it is ring porous or diffuse porous. What is the difference between ring porous and diffuse porous? Means in case of ring porous, there are growth rings are there, distinct growth rings are there. It is delimited by parenchyma. In the beginning of the year, vessels are big in size. As the year ends, gradually the size of the vessel decreases. Next year, again, when the line with parenchyma delimiting the growth rings will form. Vessels are big in size, again gradually size decreases. This pattern keeps on repeating. Whereas in case of diffuse porous, even though growth ring is present, all the wood vessels, they are of almost same size. No early would lead to differentiation in diffuse porous wood. For example, one piece of for example, for example, For example, if two pieces of wood is given to us to differentiate, first we have to, on the cross section, we have to cut and then see whether it is a ring porous or diffuse porous. Then if it is ring porous, we can tell that is teak. If it is diffuse porous, we can tell it is Acacia auriculiformis. The wood structure is different in different species, depending on the proportion, arrangement, shape, size, distribution, pattern of various cell elements like vessels, fibers, parenchyma, rays, tracheids, etc. We have to identify what it is. No two wood elements have exactly the same structure, and the structural patterns seen on the end surface or in cross section constitute as it were the fingerprints of wood, each with its own distinctive features. See in these pictures, you can see all these three are ring porous wood. In the beginning of the year, wherever the growth ring is there, vessels are bigger in size. Gradually size is decreasing as the year ends. Next year again big vessels we are seeing in all the 3 photographs. First one is teak, second one is the Legistomia microcarpa, that is benthic. Third one is Morus alba. This pattern is ring porous wood. In diffuse porous wood, even the growth ring is there, not early wood late wood pattern is not visible. It is almost same size. In the first photograph, it is Haldu wood. You can see pores small to very small pores. And pores in the second photo is Kanju wood, pores large to medium size. In the third photograph, it is Semule, pores are very large in size. In these 3 photographs, you can see one is small size vessels, medium size vessels, and large size vessels. How it is differing from species to species. Then you can see race also, you can see how it is different. In one photograph, it is fine. In second, Kanju, it is medium. In the third photograph, Semule, race are very broad, fine and broad. Then Parenchyma pattern is also different in 3 photographs. So each structure, each wood is having its own structure. As fingerprints of people differs, wood structure also differs. By looking at its anatomical characters like vessels, parenchyma, rays, fibers, how it is, we can identify woods. Coming to vessel or pores pattern, in this first photographs, you can see vessels are solitary. Only single vessel is seen. And in the second photograph, you can see radial multiples, means one above the other. How it is different from species. In these photographs, different types of vessel arrangement is shown. Solitary, radial multiples means one above the other. Pore clusters is also seen in the third photograph. And in the fourth photograph, it is flame-like. In the last one, pore chains are seen. In some timbers, vessels are arranged diagonal in diagonal rows. In some, straight or wavy tangential bands. In some timbers, some features are there which helps in identification. In the first photographs, you are seeing a Tylosis. In the round structures of vessels, inside the vessel, some shining substance is there. That is Tylosis. We call it as Tylosis. This is seen in some of the timbers. This helps in identification. And in case of second photograph, you can see yellow and brown deposits. This also it helps in identification. And see, anatomy is very important because you can see in these photographs, Tylosis is there. Yellow deposits is there. If the most of the vessels are occupied by Tylosis, it hinders preservation, and also all these wood elements, they play an important role in seasoning and preservation, and its utilization. Till now, we have seen how different types of vessel arrangement. Coming to parenchyma distribution, it is different timbers have different type of parenchyma distribution. For example, in the first photograph, you can see vessels. You are seeing that round structure. Surrounding the vessels, one thin layer is there, white line. That type of parenchyma we call it as vasicentric. In the second picture, surrounding the vessels, we see parenchyma as a I-type. That we call it as aliform. In the third photograph, aliform confluent means connecting 2 vessels. And in some timbers, parenchyma is banded, connecting the vessels. It is both, in some it is apotracheal, away from the vessels. In some it may be paratracheal, associated with the vessels. Different types of parenchyma are present in different species. This is different types of parenchyma. Each tree is having different type. For example, if you want to know, identify any tree, we should know what type of parenchyma it is having, what type of race it is having, what type of vessel arrangement it is having, all these things. Then only we can identify what wood it is. Coming to rays, rays are groups of horizontally aligned parenchyma cells running in radial direction from pit or center of the log to periphery. In the second photograph, you can see there are parallel lines. Rays are parallel lines perpendicular to growth ring, present on end surface as numerous fine whitish or light colored parallel lines at right angles to the growth rings. By looking at this, we can some timbers we can tell if the ripple marks are present. We can tell this belongs to this family, like that. In a three direction, how it looks. In the cross section, how it is looking. In the tangential section, they look like spindle shape. Same rays in the radial section, they look like ribbon like. When we study under microscope, all these things we have to see. In the cross section, how it is arranged. In the tangential, we do the measurements. We count the number of cells. In radial section, we see it is homocellular or heterocellular, and anything else is present in that. All these characters we have to note down. Rays in the first photograph, that is semule, very broad. By looking at this, you can tell very broad rays are there. Maybe this belongs to this, like that. In some timbers, it is moderately broad. In some, like bijasol, it is fine rays. So their size also differs. In some, it may be fine. Some, it may be moderately broad. Some, it may be broad to broad. Fine means it is uniserate. Only one line of only single cells will be there. In case of second photographs, you can see from 3 to 4 seriate. In the third photograph, 5 to 6 or 8 seriate. So it depends. In some timbers, like fine rays means bijasol, like that. Teak and all, it is medium. It differs from species to species. This ray arrangement, number of cells, it depends. In some timbers, we can observe, this is a diagnostic character of some timbers, like all Pterocarpus species, Dalbergia species. We can, whenever we see in the tangential side, we see the ripple marks. Ripple marks means storied arrangement of rays. This is present only in few timbers. This is a diagnostic character. In how do we differentiate ripple marks from non-ripple marks group? Means in other timbers, rays are spindle shape. They are not arranged in a particular pattern. They are haphazardly arranged, like the photograph first what we have shown. In case of ripple marks group, they are almost same size. They are arranged in a row, same height. That we call it as ripple marks. So that is how this is the way we differentiate ripple marks group and spindle shape other group. All of us know, and we are all using salt timber and gurjan. How do we differentiate these two? Some of the timbers are having family, like Dipterocarpus family. It is having gum ducts. In almost all, it is present. Maybe it is red miranti, yellow miranti, white miranti, or balau, or any kapur, anything that gum ducts are present. In case of Dipterocarpus species, that is gurjan, other than vessels, here we are seeing one structure, round structure, opening, surrounding that white parenchyma is there, no? That is gum duct. In case of gurjan, it is in a tangential group 2 to 7. Whenever we see this gum ducts in any timber, we can tell that this belongs to Dipterocarpaceae family. Maybe there in case of in family, then we have to search whether it belongs to Balau or Hopia or red miranti, yellow miranti, whatever, Anisoptera, like that, Rhinobalanopsis, which group it belongs to. First thing is we have to see the gum ducts. Whereas in case of soil, that the gum duct is in concentric band of gum ducts we can see. In a line it will be. In Gurjan, it is scattered 2 to 3 groups, whereas in here it is in a line. Then we are till now we have seen how vessels are arranged. Then ray, how it is different types of rays we have seen. Parenchyma patterns we have seen. Fibers, in case of fibers, we see whether it is thin walled or thick walled. It is not that useful in identification. Then after noting down any special character is there, any diagnostic character is there, and all these things we have to note down. After noting observation, the combination of general features, gross structure, minute anatomical features will help in identifying the unknown wood sample. For that, what we have to do? Comparing the obtained data, whatever observations we have made, with either of or in combination of literature. We have lot of literature in wood anatomy, how general features, anatomical features of different species. We have authentic slides, we have images from the internet, information from reference books or online softwares are there. Then we have to compare it with the unknown sample with the slides or literature. Once the unknown wood sample matches with exact genus or species, the result will be given in the prescribed format. For that, some species we can identify by looking at this macroscopic, that is with the hand lens, without microscope. Only few species, but the rest of the species we have to cut the sections, we have to see under microscope, we have to note down the characters, and all this compare with our slides, literature, we have to see internet, all these things we have to do. Then we have to tell what wood it is. For this, we usually see for IVA bulletin, we see 1989 IVA list of character for microscopic features of hardwood identification. For softwood, we are seeing IVA committee 2004 IVA list of microscopic features. And these two softwares we are using, Inside Wood and Commercial Timbers Delta, that these two we are using for searching after observation of characters. See, these two photographs you are seeing. While when we look at the photographs, any layman or any person, anybody, it looks same. If the second photograph is given, thinking that it is teak, in the name of teak, we will buy it. But when we see under microscope or under hand lens, we can differentiate. First one is the teak. Second photograph is Acacia auriculiformis. When they polish, or then when they give any polish color to the wood, it looks same because of its morphological characters. In some cases, they adulterate like this. As I've already told, how teak and acacia differs. We have to see, then we can decide what it is. In some cases, what they will do means, Dalbergia latifolia is a costly timber. It is a heavy timber, and its color is almost brown to purplish. Whereas Terminalia alata, it is also heavy timber, almost it is also blackish. What they do is, Terminalia alata, they do polish it, like a little color they will put, and they'll sell in the name of Dalbergia latifolia. By looking at these anatomical characters, we can differentiate. In case of Dalbergia latifolia, parenchyma, you can see it is in a band type. Whereas in case of Terminella alata, that is laurel, parenchyma is aliform or I type, and it is a terminal parenchyma. One line of parenchyma we are seeing. In Dalbergia latifolia, we are seeing in tangential side ripple marks, storied rays. Whereas in Terminella, this is not seen. This is how we can differentiate. This is when we see in the microscope tangential side, Dalbergia is having 2 to 3 seriate rays, whereas Terminalia it is uniseriate. only single cells are present. Rays are single seriate. Nowadays, we are getting lot of merbau wood. What happens, our bijasal wood, in our country, it is not we are getting sufficient wood. What these timber traders are doing, they usually adulterate it. Adulterate means what they do, in the name of uh, bijasal, they sell that merbau wood. Mostly this merbau wood is coming from Australia. What they'll tell, they suffix the name of Australia. In Kannada, we call Pterocarpus marsupium, we call that honne. That sell this timber, merbau, Insia species, in the name of Australian honne. So people, they won't be knowing. They think it is a honne, like that, thinking that it is honne, they will buy it. In these photographs, you can see our bijasal Pterocarpus marsupium wood structure is different and merbau wood structure is different. Pterocarpus marsupium, if you want to know whether it is a bijasal or not, if you put one piece of wood in water, in the bijasal, you will get that fluorescence. That is a yellowish color. On the top, you get blue color fluorescence. Whereas that merbau, Insia species, when we boil or put it in water, it is just like black or brown decoction, like that you will see. This is how we can differentiate between, anybody can differentiate by doing this thing. So till now we know, we have seen how identification is done. Then why do we have to get our wood to be identified? The importance of timber identification, what is the need is, certification and importance of timber identification is to check adulteration. Maybe they give like this, instead of teak, they may give you acacia, or instead of bijasal, they may give you merbau, like that. And misuse of timbers. Before using any timbers, you should know what it is. Or if you are not knowingly, unknowingly, some other timber it is used, it is lost to as illegal trade. In legal trade, we have to check whether it is the seized sample is same or not, and anything else is seized, thinking that, for example, sandalwood is seized, red sander is seized. Other than that, if it is other than sandalwood, something else is seized, like that, we have to certify. So in such cases, identification is required, and quality assurance to avoid selling or buying the inferior timber in the name of reputed timber and inferior quality wood. To use right type of wood for our project, value for money. For all these things, it is important. Timber identification is important. Choice of species should not be made merely an easy availability, cheapness, and other considerations. Before using any timbers, the first and most essential is to know what species it is and what properties it possesses. So where all this timber identification is useful? It is used in forensic science, it is useful, dendrochronology, dendroclimatology, paper and pulp technology also this is useful, and checking illegal trade also, this timber identification is important. We have xylarium in our IWST. This is our xylarium. We have collections from Indian collections, foreign collections, and whatever nowadays coming to Indian market, that also we are having. And some products also we have made. Secondary timbers, from secondary timbers we have developed some products, so that also we are having. This collection also we are having from of different species. And every year we conduct training, timber identification training we conduct. If anybody is interested, they can join. It is in November. It is 5 days course. In this training, we will give 25 timbers, important timbers, which are having almost all characters. We give this hands-on training. We give you the sample and we'll give the literature. And every sample will tell us how you have to identify, how to see the characters, how to and see the literature, compare it, how to identify, and we show the photographs of all these things, photo micrographs. And in that you can learn some of the timbers, how to identify. For this 15,000 we charge. If anybody is interested, they can join the training. And also one more thing is we do testing of timbers. We usually receive samples from police department, revenue intelligence, customs, forest department, construction companies, CPWD, KPWD, BSNL, public, and many more companies for certification. If anybody is interested, they can send the samples. You can get it tested. 10,000 rupees we charge for normal cases and 18% GST. And for police cases, we charge 20,000 rupees. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Now the panel is open for discussion. Any trainee, if they have any doubt, please can discuss with madam.
Hello. Hello.
Any questions from the trainee side?
Hello. Am I audible?
Yes, Dr. N.K. Sharma, you are audible, sir. Yes, sir, please go on.
How a common man will identify the wood is real or adulterated?
No, your voice is not audible, sir. Little more louder, please.
How a common man will decide or identify whether the wood is adulterated or real one? Because in your laboratory you are doing so many things and you can come to know that. But in case of a common man, suppose I want to buy something like teak wood, so how will I decide that is real or adulterated?
Your
Is my
voice
question
is,
clear?
no, your voice is still not clear to us. Can you come closer to the mic and speak, please?
Now is clear?
Yeah, now it is better.
Hello?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So my question is how a common man will identify that the wood is adulterated or real one? Suppose I want to buy teak wood, real wood, then how to identify whether the wood which the company is selling me is the real or the adulterated one?
Sir, in case of teak, it is moderate, the density is moderate. You will get that old leather smell you get, sir. For a common man, old leather smell you get. When you see the cross section, you can see the rings.
But see, I don't have any data with me that rings you have showed it because your area is very specialized area. You have done a lot of research work.
So it's a,
Can I interfere?
in teak, and it is ring porous. You can see many rings on the teak. And medium density wood it is. Little oiliness will be there. These are the general features. And by looking at the rings, you can, to some extent, you can decide it is a teak or not.
Shuklaji,
Sir,
can I interfere?
sir, please.
Dr. Patel, common man cannot identify timber unless he undergoes a training, basic training, which is given at FRA Dehradun, IWST, KFRA, and IPRT, where Mrs. Sujata showed a variety of wood structures. During the training, the structure of the wood will be explained, and then in that we have included 25 timbers, which one of them is also teak. For example, if you want to know the teak, you should know what the characters of the teak are, for which you have to undergo a training. Wood anatomy is a very special subject But for in a week's time, we give a basic information. Once you are given training, you can know whether it is thick or not. What it is not is very difficult for you to identify, for which the laboratory is required to be taken for assistance. Thank you.
That is correct. But my question is again this: that the common man cannot identify. It means the adulteration of the wood, use of the adulterated wood cannot be
You're absolutely
stopped.
correct. Common man
It
cannot
cannot be
identify.
stopped.
You have to refer it to the laboratories.
Yes. So, and one more question I have. Madam was showing some slide in which she was showing the pores, small pores and bigger pores. I forgot the name. What she was telling.
See,
Pores, bigger pores and small pores. What was that? Can
that
Madam
is the
explain that?
variety of structure you have in. See, in the world, you have more than 5,000 timbers of farmer. In India, we have nearly 1,600 timbers.
Okay.
And at the Forest Research Laboratory, we have studied all these timbers using gross structure. That means a small knife, a hand lens, and how it looks like. Based on that, we have described all this. At IWC also, we have developed a similar type of structure laboratory.
Good.
First thing is you undergo 5-day training at IWST. At the end of the training, you will say, yes, I can identify teak. That much assurance I can give.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Hello. Any questions from the trainees side? नितिन पटेल.
हाँ सर, अभी हमारा सब्जेक्ट सैंडलवुड पर है, सैंडलवुड ऑयल ऊपर। तो हम ये चाहते हैं कि सैंडलवुड तो सभी किसानों को पता है कि सैंडलवुड क्या है। काफ़ी इंफॉर्मेशन अभी तो किसानों के पास अवेलेबल हो गई है, मगर जो रेड सैंडर है इसमें कंफ्यूजन बहुत लोगों को है। जैसे मैंने 2017 में एक सैंपल भेजा था तो वो सैंडलवुड नहीं था, उनकी सिस्टर थी। तो इसके बारे में किसी को सैंपल भेजना है तो कितना चार्जेस होगा? क्या 20,000 होगा कि ये रेड सैंडल है या नहीं देखने के लिए? ऐसे तो पत्ते पर से पता चलता है कि ये रेड सैंडल है या नहीं। जैसे मैं वहाँ आया था IWST में, तो मुझे प्रैक्टिकली बताया गया था कि ये सेम है, स्ट्रक्चर सेम है, सब कुछ सेम है, मगर ये पत्ते से पता चलेगा कि ये रेड सैंडल है या नहीं। हम किसानों को गाइड करते हैं, फिर भी कहीं कंफ्यूजन हुआ तो हमें सैंपल टेस्टिंग के लिए भेजना है तो कितना चार्जेस किसान को लगेगा? इंडस्ट्रीज की बात नहीं कर रहा हूं मैं।
Sir, actually the rates are fixed by ICFRA. Whatever rate that given we have doing. Mostly for red sanders we receive from police cases, and it is from all over India we are receiving. When C sample is given to us, we have to identify that we have so many days we have to boil, study under microscope. Then after giving the report, they call us for witness. When we go for witness, coming our traveling expenses will be more. That's why we are charging 20,000, sir. It is uniform for all.
पटेल साहब,
रेड सेंडर आपको लेने के लिए आना नहीं है, किसान आपको करे कुरियर तो।
पटेल साहब,
Court will go, sir, for witness for that.
ये कह रहा है कि जो रेड सेंडर होता है ना, वो उसमें 3-4 और स्पीसीज होती हैं जिसमें कि कंफ्यूजन होता है।
हाँ सर।
तो उसको लिए हमको उसका केमिस्ट्री भी देखना पड़ता है, केमिकल्स उसके अंदर कौन कौन से है वो देखना पड़ता है।
ओके।
तो उसके लिए हमको एक तो वुड का जो अभी एनाटॉमिकल टेस्ट होता है, जो उसका स्ट्रक्चर होता है वो देखते हैं, और उसके साथ साथ उसके केमिकल्स जो हैं वो देखते हैं। तो केमिकल्स देखने के बाद ही हमको एग्जैक्टली पता चलता है कि वो कौन सी स्पीसीज है, क्योंकि रेड सेंडर में भी 3-4 स्पीसीज हैं जो आपस में जिनका स्ट्रक्चर मिलता जुलता है।
तो कुछ ऐसा हो सकता है इन फ्यूचर किसानों को, क्योंकि किसान टेस्टिंग के लिए 20,000 बोलेंगे कोई भी, उस टाइम हमने 5,000 पे किया था, किसान ने पे किया था, अगर 20,000 की बात आएगी तो वो तो सीधा ही वो हो जाएगा। तो कुछ हम ऐसा लिटरेचर कर सकते हैं कि किसानों को पता चल जाए कि ऐसा, नहीं तो हमारे जैसे उसको गाइड कर सकते हैं। चारों चार जो सिमिलर जैसा है,
जी।
इसका कोई लिटरेचर बन सकता है?
नहीं, लिटरेचर तो ऑलरेडी है हमारे पास, लेकिन उसको जो रेड सैंडल की जो 3-4 स्पीसीज हैं उनमें अलग करने के लिए हमको केमिकल टेस्ट लेबोरेटरी में करना ही पड़ेगा। वो देखने से पता नहीं चलता है।
हाँ, वो तो सही है, मगर
तो उसके लिए हम ये इतना पैसा चार्ज करते हैं जो
वो तो हम समझ सकते हैं। हम प्रैक्टिकल किसानों की बात कर रहे हैं। इंडस्ट्रीज आएगी वो बात अलग है, उसको तो पेमेंट करना है, मगर किसानों को ये प्रॉब्लम आएगी। मगर मैं आइडेंटिफिकेशन
जी
लैब की बात नहीं कर रहा हूं, इसकी फोटोग्राफी वीडियोग्राफी कुछ हो कि ये है, ये है, ऐसा कुछ लिटरेचर हो सकता है?
शुक्ला जी, डॉक्टर
हेलो
शुक्ला,
सर।
मैं जरा बोलो।
जी सर, बिल्कुल।
हाँ सर, पटेल सर,
हाँ सर।
हम पैम्पलेट उसका लिटरेचर पैम्पलेट ऑलरेडी बन चुका है इन द फॉर्म ऑफ सेमिनार्स में।
ओके।
उसके लिए भी आपको एक माइक्रोस्कोपिक एक लैबोरेटरी चाहिए, वुडन में लैबोरेटरी।
ओके।
To establish a wooden atom laboratory, you have to invest at least 40-50 lakhs.
ओ यस।
Best thing is,
हाँ।
I mean, I was a retired scientist, retired as the head of the division of WPU division, Dr. R.V. Rao.
हम्म
आप मुझे भी as a common man now, I feel
हम्म
20,000 rupees is high.
हम्म
All the farmers can make an appeal to Director General,
हम्म
ICFRE,
हम्म
because IWST cannot do. ICFRE DG has to decide
यस सर।
to reduce or give concession to farmers
यस सर।
for identification of timber, but
हम्म
identification of sandal or not is possible only at the laboratory level, not for a common man.
ओके सर।
You can make an appeal to Director General through your Farmers Association, All India Farmers Association, like that, to give some concession for which a DG may consider.
ओके सर।
I will also make an appeal.
यस यस।
Thank you.
थैंक यू, थैंक यू।
Thank you, sir. Our next speaker for today is Mrs. S. Shashikala. Madam is ACTO of WPU division.
Madam Sujata, madam, can I ask one question from farmer side?
Yes, sir, you can ask.
Actually, we are hearing very good quality teak wood we are importing from Burma. Instead of that, we can promote our old trees, age more than 30 years, 40 years, 50 years old teak trees. We can arrange a properties test, and we can promote our good teak timber to our usages as well as the international usages. Is there any possibility to encash and generate additional revenue for farmers in that aspect?
Sir, in our laboratory, we are mechanical testing doing. If you are sending the samples to us, we'll test it and results will compare with the teak, standard teak. Then we'll give the report, sir. If it is okay with matching almost all, means it is you get good price, sir.
Can I get any means good properties teak wood requirements where it is required in India? So can we get any sources in which companies requiring good teak wood and they are giving good price? Is there any data availability is there, madam? Because we have 6 feet girth, 7 feet girth teak wood in our areas, so we are getting very less price. I hope the properties are meeting international standards. So how we can encash from farmer side by selling these 50 years, 40 years old teak trees?
Yeah, you can approach different furniture industry or other construction industries. They are mostly there is a lot of demand for teak wood, but Burma teak, as far as Burma teak is concerned, it is old grown teak, and quality of the Burma teak is better than our Indian 20 years or 30 years old teak. So that way, Burma teak demand is more and its price is also higher compared to our plantation teak, which is of shorter rotation and quality wise also it may be not at par with the Burma teak. So, there is a lot of demand for the teak wood in our country. Everybody wants the teak to be used. So, can be approached different industries and sawmills. Even sawmills also they are stacking lot of teak wood for further conversion and selling it to different industries.
Yes, sir. But compare with like Kerala, Andhra Pradesh, we noticed very much difference between the rates. In Kerala, cubic feet log, they are selling around 2,000, 3,000. In Andhra Pradesh, we are getting only 1,000 for cubic feet log. Log means raw log. So that much 1 to 3 times difference is there. 1:3. So how we can is there any possibility to make a platform in that aspects to get a good price throughout the India? And is it possible? Then we can make a Nitinji also. Please, I'm expecting from answer from you also, Nitin Bhai Patel.
Certainly, teak growers can come forward and they can we can technically support. There is absolutely no problem. But we do not have such kind of association.
Okay, thank you very much.
Our next speaker today,
Mr. Chandrasekhar Rao. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Chandrasekhar Rao, we are making. I am speaking on behalf of Tree Land Development Services. It is a company formed by the senior and retired forest officers. We are trying to have a online teak sales. We want to arrange online teak sales, and it will be displayed over online your material that will be action in online. So you can register with our company so that we can publicize and give a good rates. This is we are calling all industries as well as farmers for this group. And my number is 944.
Okay.
Hello. 94480.
Okay.
519.
Okay.
83. You can send any information through WhatsApp to this number. We are making arrangement. Wide publicity will be given for your material and even purchasers and the farmers. This is our group doing. Thank you.
Good, sir.
thank you, sir. Sir, we will continue with the discussion later. Our next speaker for today is Mrs. S. Shashikala, madam. Madam is the Assistant Chief Technical Officer in Institute of Science and Technology and has an experience of 29 years in working under anatomy and timber identification. Madam is the author of a book and information series booklet published by IWST and has published nearly 34 research papers in international and national journals. Madam has received Outstanding Employee Award from ICFRE. Over to you, madam.
talk about wood structure of Indian sandalwood, that is Santalum album. In fact, whatever I'm going to speak is it's not only my work. It is actually done by various other authors also, researchers, and few of the things have been taken from the internet also. So I'm just going to talk about the structure of Santalum album, known as Indian sandalwood, and its adulterants. That is mostly on anatomical approach only. So as we know that Santalum album, it belongs to the family Santillacy. The genus Santalum is a small genus of trees or shrubs, consists of about 25 species, distributed in India, East Malaysia, Australia, and East Polynesia. Out of these 25 species of Santalum, the only species found in India is Santalum album, that is sandalwood. It's a small tree with slender drooping branchlets, may parasitic on roots, then which grows to a height of 6 to 15 meter and 90 to 120 meter, 90 to 120 meter in girth. Sorry, centimeter in girth. And bark is reddish brown to dark brown. It's also known by various names such as chandan, sandal, white sandalwood, Mysore sandalwood, East Indian sandalwood, etc. As we know that economic importance of this family is mainly on the account of its being the source of well-known sandalwood of commerce. The essential oil distilled from the hardwood is in perfumery and medicines. So these are the uses of sandalwood. This is one of the finest wood for carving and other fancy articles. The sapwood can be utilized for making small ternary articles like dolls, chess pieces, jewelry cases, etc. It is used for religious purpose in the form of paste and incense, which have been used since time immemorial. The essential oil distilled from the hardwood is in medicines and perfumery. Like after the extraction of the oil, whatever the remaining sawdust is there, this is used for making the agarbattis. The tree generally occurs in the dry open forest, mainly confined to Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, Kerala, and some parts of Maharashtra. Now it is grown as plantation in other drier regions of India also. Now in the photo, you can see the grain, that is of the log, that is the center dark color wood is the hardwood, which is uh, which gives the scented portion, and the sapwood portion, which is of lighter colored one. Previous speaker, you have like we have all known that what is the identification and how the identification is done. That is, this is through the wood anatomical approach. The wood anatomy is one of the branch of the wood science through which we can identify the species, and this is the less expensive. This is the least expensive method of identification compared to other methods of identification. Like it can be of chemical profiling or DNA profiling and all. Anatomy can identify the species at a lower cost. So how do we go ahead with the identification process? Though this already been told, I'm just repeating it. Like by seeing its physical and or general properties like color, hardness, weight, texture, odor, and grain pattern. Next come to the macroscopic features. This consists of using a hand lens, that is a magnifying hand lens. This is done only for the qualitative purpose, like what is the we will not be able to judge the size, that is not a quantitative one. So mostly it is done through the 10x hand lens. Next comes the microscopic features. This is using the microscope and other software for the quantification. The microscopic features, like we have major wood elements. Hardwood is the fibers, rays, vessels, and parenchyma. So all these pattern will be observed That means through the macroscopic as well as through microscopic features. Quantification also will be done using using the microscope and it's some of the software connected to the microscope. So combination of all the characteristics, identification of the out. Coming to the point of the Santillacy. This is the topic of today, that is the Santalum album. Let us just go through the anatomy of the Santillacy. From the point of view of anatomical structure of the wood, the family is heterogeneous. The family means the family of Santillacy is two distinct groups can be recognized. The first group, which includes Osiris and Santalum. So this is having a particular character with having a very characteristic pleasant odor and characterized by the presence of exclusively solitary vessels. Now you have already heard about what is vessels or pores, which is observed in the in simple perforation plates. This is also related to the vessel that is connected between two vessels. How two vessels are connected is through perforation plates. The perforation plates can be of simple or scalariform, but in this case of Santillacy, it is simple perforation plates and vessel pits. That is between two vessels. The pitting will be done. Pitting will be there. So such type of pitting here is very rare and small intervessel pitting is there. Next comes to the presence of deposits and tylosis. And what type of parenchyma is there? In Osiris and Santalum is apotracheal parenchyma, that is diffuse in aggregate. As far as the parenchyma and the vessels are concerned, element is the rays. This is the the rays are very fine. This is around 8 to 15 per mm. This rays will be there. This is of heterogeneous. That means two types of cells will be there. Mostly it is procumbent and square or upright cells. This is around 1 to 2 seriate. That means two cells will be width. Two cells will be there, or rarely 3 cells width be there in rays. Then fibers are with distinct bordered pits. Vascular tracheids moderately, it is common. The woods are generally heavy and fine textured. This is regarding the first group, that is Osiris and Santalum. The second group consisting of Pyrularia. We have one species available in India. This is second group. This is distinguished by the characters like vessels in mostly in radial multiples. This is contrast to the first group, which is having a exclusively solitary vessels, but in the second group having a radial multiples and the confluent parenchyma. In the first group, it is a diffuse to diffuse in aggregate, whereas in this group, the parenchyma is confluent, that is, it's a banded and broad rays. Rays are easily visible with the hand lens. Woods are not scented. So this is how we can differentiate between the two groups of the Santillacy. Coming to the anatomical properties of sandalwood, as already has been told, how we identify or how we give the describe the any wood. But in this case, now whatever I am describing is the of the sandalwood. The general features here, it is sapwood and hardwood are distinct, as already has been told. Like here, you can see two distinct wood colors are there. The center one is the dark colored one, and the outer here the center one is the dark colored wood. It is called as the hardwood, and this is the sapwood portion. The center hardwood is there, which is the source of for the oil, essential oil. So here the sapwood and hardwood are distinct. Sapwood is white and then hardwood is yellowish brown with very pleasant characteristic scent. Heavy to, the wood is heavy to very heavy. That means the weight or the specific gravity is around 860 to 900 kg per meter cube, and the wood is having a very fine texture and even textured also. Next comes to the gross structure. This gross structure is described using the 10x hand lens, magnification hand lens. This is a diffuse porous wood. Already the difference between the diffuse porous and ring porous has been done. Has been already discussed. So diffuse porous wood is the within a growth ring. If the pores are of uniform size and uniformly if it is distributed, it is called as a diffuse porous wood. And so next comes to the growth rings. Here the growth rings are indistinct to distinct. But what is happening? We receive a lot of enquiries to find out the age of the sandalwood. But here I would like to tell that even though the growth rings or the growth mark is there, sometimes it may be there or it may not be there. Even in such case, the age of the tree cannot be told because these are not annual rings. So in case of sandalwood, even if the growth rings present, the age of the trees cannot be ascertained. The vessels are pores which are very small and numerous in this case, then evenly distributed. The the vessel size, that means vessel distribution is it is exclusively solitary. That means only the solitary pores or the pores will be occurring in singles only, not in multiples. Then there may be some brown color deposits inside the vessels or pores. They are round to oval in outline, and the parenchyma, which is not visible to the eye, that means to the unaided eye, but even with the help of the 10x hand lens also, the parenchyma is it is not that much easily visible. These are fine to very fine. They are very closely spaced. This very closely spaced is because, like as I have already told, that the frequency of the vessels are around 8 to 15 per mm. Then they are all uniformly distributed. This is how the cross section looks. So, as I've already told, you can see the solitary pores. All the pores are single in nature. They are not radial multiples, because they are all occurring in singles. Here, the minute structure is vessels are 30 to 60 micron in diameter. That means they are all very small in diameter. With the unaided eye or even with the hand lens, it is very difficult to see the vessels. These vessels are occluded with the orange-brown gummy deposits. Some of the vessels are occluded with orange or brown gummy deposits. Then perforation plates is simple. That means between two, whatever here you are seeing is the cross section. Here you can see the tangential section where you can see these are the same vessels which are seen as round in the previous structure, that is all circular ones. But here in the tangential longitudinal section, the same vessels are seen as a tubular structure, and these vessels they are connected by the they are connected by the plates. They are called as perforation plates. In this case, it is only a horizontal or the oblique plate which is called as a simple perforation plate. Here you can see the perforation plate between two vessels. Perforation plate is simple. Then parenchyma has diffuse to diffuse in aggregate. You can see here, apart from the vessels, you can even see the smaller white colored small dots structures. There actually it is a parenchyma. Even though the parenchyma as a single, it cannot be seen. Here, if it is having some sort of pattern. Earlier, I have seen there are different type of patterns of parenchyma like aliform, then confluent, then basis-centric, and diffuse to diffuse in aggregate. That means they are not here. It is away from the pores, and they are called as apotracheal. And here you can see some of the parenchyma which is very small here. They are all like some are 3, some are 4 like that. So it is called as diffuse to diffuse in aggregate. Diffuse means it is just scattered and not associated with the vessels here. Then containing chambered vessels, the crystals. This containing chambered crystals means it is seen in the radial section or in the tangential section. I will show these crystals in the coming slides. Rays are around 7 to 10 per mm, and then there are 1 to 3 seriate, but mostly 2 seriate cells will be there. They're all heterocellular, and but in the here this is the main point here. The crystals are absent in the rays, but crystals are present in the parenchyma. Then vascular trachea is present. Then fibers are with numerous distinct bordered pits. Here in the cross section, you can see the ray as parallel lines, here dark color lines, and deposits you can see parenchyma also. This is the cross section. Tangential longitudinal section, I have already told that the rays, here you can see 1 and 2. It's width-wise horizontally, there are 2 cells. That means it is 2 seriated rays, or it is called as biseriate ray. Sometimes the 3 seriate rays also can be seen, but mostly in Santalum album, only seriate rays can be. Then these are the pores. Already I have this is like a tubular structure, and these are this help in the conduction of the sap and other thing. And this will the two be connected by the perforation plates. It's called as simple perforation plate. And here the rest of the things here it is called as these are the background tissues or fiber, and fiber pits also can be seen. These fiber pits are very common on the tangential vessel. This is the radial longitudinal sections. So for any identification, we have to take these sections in all the 3 directions, that is cross, radial, and tangential section. You have seen cross section and the tangential section. This is the radial longitudinal section, and this is the sapwood of the RLS. Here you can see the ray cells here. These are all heterocellular ray cells. This is, you can see that sapwood. There are no deposits over here. This is the case of radial same RLS section of the hardwood. So in case of hardwood, you can see the oil globules which are present in the ray cells. So these oil globules are responsible for giving the odor of the sandal. So we can see here, this interestingly, sandalwood does not possess the oil cells either in wood or bark. On the it is like in some of the family like Lauraceae, these oil cells will be seen either in the tangential section or in the radial longitudinal planes. These oil cells can be seen, but in case of sandalwood, these oil cells cannot be seen, but only the oil globules can be seen in some of the hardwood samples. And this can be observed in different wood elements. Like here you can see the oil globules in vessels, and here you can see it is in the ray cells. So this is as far as the anatomy of the wood structure of the Santalum album, that is sandalwood. But next, we'll come to the adulterant parts. So due to the ever increasing demand and increasing price of Indian sandalwood and its oil, adulterants or cheaper substitute woods are flooding in the market. So many timbers similar to sandalwood in external appearance are passed on to the consumer by application of sandalwood or just a spray of either the real sandalwood or it may be a synthetic sandalwood oil also, so that the consumer can feel that he is procuring a real sandalwood. So based on the external appearance, this is difficult to differentiate these adulterant from the real sandalwood, because the like each wood will have its different wood structure will be there. But in case of sandalwood, you have already seen like what is the structure of the sandalwood. So to avoid the adulteration, information on characterization and authentication of wood is necessary. So by studying the structure of wood, that is through the internal structure that is called as wood anatomy, one can get the correct identity of the wood and eliminate the other inferior substitutes. These are the some of the oil yielding species of the Santalum genus, that is Santalum album. Album. This is from the India and Indonesia. Then Santalum spicatum from Australia. Then from Hawaii, we can get this other Santalum species like Halakalele and then Paniculatum ellipticum and so on. Then from New Caledonia, we can this Astra caledonicum is available, and from Fiji we have this Santalum acci, and then from PNG we have this MacGregori. These are the other oil yielding species of genus Santal. That is, these are all Santalum only, but its species are different. The potential adulterant of sandalwood in Indian market is Osiris species. Is from the same family as I have already discussed, and these are around there are around 35 species of genus Osiris, but very limited information is available on its wood structure. One is that Osiris lanceolata, other one is the Osiris whiteiana, which are two important species which is flooding in Indian market. So the first one is the Osiris lanceolata, is the Tanzanian or African sandalwood. This is used for scented wood and is to extract essential oil. This is also a semi-parasitic plant, is found from South Africa to Zimbabwe and East Africa, including Tanzania and Kenya. This is how the Santalum spicatum looks like, its end grain. In fact, the Santalum Osiris, that is Santalum spicatum, Santalum album and Osiris, all its like external appearance will be very, very similar. Unless until you see the structure under the microscope, one cannot differentiate between these three species. Even under the hand lens, that means if you see under the using the gross structure, these three species cannot be separated. But only using the microscopic identification, we can go for the species differentiation between Santalum album, Santalum spicatum, and Osiris species. As we see here, Osiris species is also having solitary pores and we have this diffuse in aggregate, and this is also having 2 to 3 seriate rays, and same type of radial structure, radial longitudinal plane also will be there. But how do we differentiate these three species? See, you can see here the Santalum spicatum, Santalum album, and Osiris species. Almost all three species as having a similar structure only. These are the cross sections. But then how do we identify that? How do we differentiate? So you can see some of the differentiating characters and similar characters in these three things. Like specific gravity is around 0.78 to 0.91 in case of Santalum album, that is sandalwood. Then Santalum spicatum is around 0.90 and Osiris species around 0.75. But this can vary. This may not be a exact thing, like there may be a range of specific gravities also through which this cannot be differentiated, and distribution of vessels. So all are having exclusively solitary vessels. Here also we cannot differentiate. And in case of frequency, frequency of the vessels, that per mm square, the whatever the like Santalum album and Osiris species are all almost similar, but in case of Santalum spicatum, in one of the papers, I could get that the Santalum spicatum vessels frequency is around 100. And diameter is also similar, except like in case of Santalum spicatum, it is 50 to 100. But the Santalum album and Osiris also, lot of variations are there. Because that means from where the sample is being taken, whether it is near the pith or whether near the periphery of the sample, the vessel frequency and the diameter varies. And the perforation plates again, in all the three perforation plates are simple, and frequency of the vessels, rays and the serration is also same, except for the crystal location. Location of the crystals are different. That means the crystal location means here in the Santalum album, the crystals are located in the parenchyma in a chambered manner, and whereas in the Santalum spicatum, the crystals are located in both parenchyma and rays, and in case of Osiris, the crystals are located only in rays. This is only the differentiating character through which we can differentiate the these three species. That is the Santalum album, Santalum spicatum, and Osiris. Next, come to the color of the water extract. This can also be used, but only to some extent. Here, the Indian sandalwood, it is giving the aqueous extract. That is the water extract is yellowish tinge. That means after boiling for some time, the wood piece, the wood chips, if when it is boiled in water for a long time, the Indian sandalwood or the Santalum album gives the yellowish tinge color, and Osiris species is giving yellowish with slight reddish color. Then next comes to the Erythroxylum monogynum. This is one of the most adulterated wood for the Santalum album. This is this colorless to faint reddish tinge will be there. The main difference by which the species of Santalum may be distinguished is by the height of the rays. Is between other species of Santalum, like it may be Santalum spicatum or Santalum album and other Santalum species which are occurring worldwide. You can see here, these are the tangential sections. You can see here the rays. This is Santalum album and this is the Santalum spicatum, and these are the Osiris rays. So rays of the Osiris. Here you can see the some shining materials are there. These are the crystals which can be seen in the rays, and this type of crystals cannot be seen in the Santalum album. This is the radial longitudinal section. As I've already told, the chambered crystals which are present in the rays, the parenchyma in the like it is like a chain. Chambered crystals are present in the parenchyma only, and in case of spicatum, rays and parenchyma, you can see crystals are located in parenchyma and rays. Whereas in case of Osiris, the crystals are present only in rays. Then the Santalum one, there are other unrelated plants with scented wood, which are also referred to as sandalwood in the market, but it is not in the true sandalwood genus, that is not in the Santillacy. Some examples are Ximenia americana, this is called as fall sandalwood, then Erythroxylum monogynum, this is bastard sandal, then Riptes porteri, or other name is Hemicyclia porteri, Agile wood, then Ermophilia, then Amyris balsamifera, Mansonia gagi, Myoporum, then Baphia nitida. adulterants that have similar external appearance. These are all non-scented timbers. Earlier, whatever I have showed you is the scented timber, and these are all non-scented timber but treated with sandalwood oil. These are Haldina Cadifolia or the Haldina Cadifolia, whose trade name is Haldu, then Buxus feliciana or the boxwood, then Gardenia Latifolia, which is called as Gardenia, then Mitragaina poviflora. So all these are non-scented wood, but they have the external, similar external appearance, or that means it can have the similar color or similar texture and similar external appearance. So let us go through one by one, like what is this thing? Anatomy of the Erythroxylum monogynon, which is a adulterant of the sandalwood. This is from the family Erythroxylaceae, whose trade name is bastard sandal, and it is known as Devadaru or Devadaru in Telugu, whose general features is like this is also having sapwood, same as sandalwood, that is creamy white, and the heartwood is reddish brown. It is also having pleasant odor, but it is not the odor is not similar to sandalwood. This is also having a very hard to very heavy, that is around 100,000 kg per meter cube, but the sandalwood is not this much heavy. But this is also having a fine texture and interlocked grain, whose gross structure is diffuse porous wood with indistinct growth rings. Pores are small to very small, moderately numerous, solitary or in radial multiples. Here you can see the radial multiples. We can see the radial multiples of vessels here. It may be in chain or it may be a two or not. But whereas in case of sandalwood, the pores are single, that they are all solitary. But in this case, the vessels are in radial multiples. So this is also one of the distinguishing character through which this particular erythroxylum can be differentiated from the sandalwood. And parenchyma has scattered cells, but in case of sandalwood, it is diffuse to diffuse in aggregate. So next adulterant is dryptes. Here the pores are in short radial multiples, and they are also having diffuse in aggregate, but it is like more like a ladder one. So this belongs to the family Euphorbiaceae, known as Agile wood. This is the color of the wood is yellowish white, but after some time this becomes darker near the center. So here this is the specific gravity or the density of the wood is it's around 900 kg per meter cube. Again, this is also having a fine texture. This is again whose gross structure is diffuse porous wood with indistinct growth rings. The pores are very small, or pores are very small and very scanty, mostly in short radial multiples. Parenchyma distinct under the handlines as numerous ladder-like bars, that is, are diffuse in aggregate. Rays are fine and closely spaced. So through the vessel arrangement, this can also be differentiated. Next is the Haldina Cadifolia or Haldina Cadifolia. This trade name is Haldu. This belongs to the family Rubiaceae. You can see here the vessels are very numerous in this case and mostly solitary, and some radial multiples also can be seen. Here the sapwood is pale yellowish or yellowish white, or heartwood is deep yellow. So by the color of the wood, we can differentiate this particular wood. But if the sapwood is given, then it is not it is almost similar to the sandalwood. The structure is it is a diffuse porous wood again, and growth rings are usually indistinct. Pores are small to very small, not visible to the eye, and distinct under the lens. And these are all moderately numerous to numerous, and it is, as I have told, that mostly vessels are solitary or in short radial multiples of 2 to 3. Next is the Buxus feliciana, or it is called as papri, or this one, whose general features are the color of the wood is yellowish white, and it is also having very fine textured with silky texture. Lustrous is there. Then it is a straight grained timber. Pores are minute, very numerous. But here you can see the solitary pores again. One more adulterant is this Gardenia Latifolia from the family Rubiaceae. The hardwood is creamy white to light yellowish brown. This is around this is also, hot to moderately heavy. Then diffuse porous wood with inconspicuous growth rings. Pores are minute, very numerous. Parenchyma is diffuse to diffuse in aggregate. Rays are very fine. One more timber as adulterant. This is Zymenia americana from the family Olaceae. So now I have just made, this is a table where it depicts like how real sandalwood can be differentiated from other adulterants. Like color, odor, when it comes to the odor, Haldina driptes are odorless, and Boxus valiciana is also odorless, Gardenia is also odorless, Mansonia gaggai and then Erythroxylum monogynum are scented wood, but their odor is different, distinct from the regular sandalwood. And distribution of the vessels. Here in case of sandalwood, it is solitary. Haldina is also solitary. Haldina Cadifolia is also having solitary vessels. Buxus is also having solitary. But in case of Dryptis and Erythroxylum, solitary and radial multiples are there. So these two can be differentiated from the regular sandalwood. Then frequency, through frequency also you can, vessel frequency also we can differentiate. But in case of Dryptis and Buxus feliciana, the perforation plate, that means I have earlier I have told that two vessels are, they are all two vessel elements will be there. Between two vessel elements, one plate will be there. That is a perforation plate. Those perforation plate can be simple or it can be a scalariform. Simple perforation means it's just a simple one, but scalariform is like a ladder one. So these two, Dryptis and Buxus, can be easily differentiated from sandalwood. And in case of Gardenia Latifolia, the serration, that means the ray serration is uniserrate, whereas in other cases it is 1 to 2 serrate. And crystals, the location of the crystals is a key, it's a major role here, it plays a major role. In case of Haldina and in case of Buxus and Gardenia Latifolia, there are no crystals. That means crystals are absent in both parenchyma and rays. In case of Erythroxylum monogynum, the crystals are present in parenchyma only. That means in case of sandalwood also, only in parenchyma the crystals will be present. But the Erythroxylum monogynum can be differentiated using by its solitary and radial multiples, presence of solitary and radial multiples. And in case of Mansonia gaggai, all the wood elements are stored. That means vessels, rays, parenchyma, and parenchyma, rays, vessels, and other one fibers, they are all stored. But in other cases and all, it is not so. Here you can see the Santillacy album and other wood structure that is in the cross section only. As in the case of Santalum album, you can see the vessel solitary, but here also Gardenia also solitary, and few are this one is there. And drip test again, we can see there's radial multiples, and erythroxylum also we can see the radial multiples. Haldina also you can see the radial multiples. And this is the tangential radial section, sorry, tangential longitudinal section. You can see the differences in the structure of the ray cells. Haldina, it is very clearly it is seen that they are all uniseriate rays, whereas in this case it is a biseriate rays. And in the radial section, this gives the clear picture of how to identify the Santalum album. The crystal location of the crystals has already been told. Chambered crystals in parenchyma, and in case of spicatum, here it is in the case of, I mean, in rays and parenchyma, and in Osiris, the crystals are located only in the ray cells. And here erythroxylum monogylum, we can see the chambered crystals in parenchyma. And in case of Buxus feliciana, we can see the scalariform perforation. So the key for differentiation of sandalwood from other some of its adulterants was it was given by Dr. R.V. Rao et al. In 1998, by which Santalum album can be differentiated easily from other Indian adulterants like other species. I'm going to show you the table. I mean how the differentiation is done. That is through only using the anatomical features. This is for this is the key for identification of sandalwood and its adulterants. Srinivasan et al. Have reported that only Santalum album trees yield high quality of sandalwood and oil, whereas from other species, other species of Santalum compared to other species of Santalum genus, though they yield oil, but the quality of the wood and oil are not comparable with Indian sandalwood. There is a need to create database of wood anatomical features of Santalum species available worldwide, along with other methods like chemical profiling, DNA fingerprinting to distinguish the wood samples at species level with more authenticity. This will not only help the authentication of wood, and this will help in check the malpractices being used in the market, its trade, and also minimize the economical losses to the end users. These are the services given at IWST. This has got the facility to identify the authenticate the Indian sandalwood or any other wood. But since we are talking about Indian sandalwood, I'm just talking about this one. This is using wood anatomical characterization as per the IVA characters. And this institute also has the facility to test the quality of sandalwood oil from solid wood as well as from increment core using wet chemistry techniques as per IS standards. Charges for wood identification is rupees 10,000 plus 18% GST, and charges for estimation of sandalwood oil is 10,000, and quality analysis also of the sandalwood oil is also 10,000 rupees. For further information, you can log into our website iwst.icfre.gov.in. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Let's go for the discussion session, please. Any questions? Then our next session, the speaker for this session is Dr. Rakesh Kumar. Sir has completed his MSc and done his PhD from the deemed University of Dehradun. His doctorate is done in chemistry of forest products. Sir has an experience of 19 years in research field of natural products. His main area of research are plant biomass, development of natural coating materials for wood, sandalwood, and other essential oil, development of eco-friendly natural dyes, composites, etc. Sir has published 35 research papers in various international and national journals, and also research outcomes presented in various conferences, seminars, and workshops. Over to you, sir.
Yeah. Good afternoon to all. Once again, I welcome all the participants. Now we are going to discuss something about from wood to oil, the testing and quality control of sandalwood oil. So now directly coming to the, so you can see from tree we get hardwood, from hardwood we get oil. So you can see the sandalwood oil is used for various applications, been known to be used in Ayurveda and many traditional medicine since more than 2500 years. There are various documented traditional uses of sandalwood oil. So I'm not going through the all the everybody knows. So I will escape due to the paucity of time. So here I want to focus. You can see not it is only traditional usage, but many research have been carried out against the you can see the pharmacology of sandalwood and its oil for various applications like hepatoprotective activity, CNS effect, anti-ulcer activity, antibacterial activity, antifungal activity, antiviral activity. So the list is goes on. So and the sandalwood oil has many physiological effects. It is scientifically studies, and that supports our traditional uses. So how
to stop it?
we can get the oil? So just it is not a subject. The subject is the testing and quality control of oil, but I want to show you how the oil we get from the sandalwood. So distillation is the most popular, widely used and cost-effective method for the production. What is the principle of distillation? The distillation is to the action of heat and water. It depends upon the volatility of the essential oil, and it depends also your water solubility of the component of the essential oil. It's a matter. So this is the principle of distillation. This is a simple distillation. You can see that the steam with the oil can be the heated material and it can evaporated and condensed, and the final distillate comes into the flask. So steam distillation is of the technique is water and steam distillation, in which water and the plant material is mixed together. So in this case, this is well suited for the herbs and leaf or soft tissue material like lavender and peppermint, and has the characteristics of both the water distillation and steam distillation. But we are discussing about the sandalwood. So steam distillation is perfectly used for the sandalwood, for the hard material like sandalwood, wood, root, seed. So in this case, the plant material do not come with the direct with the plant material remains separate, and the steam produced separately and pass through heat, and the plant material does not comes in contact with the steam. Steam generator is separate. So this is well suited for wood and seed. Just I briefly, and we after distillation, we get water as well as oil. So we need to separate that water from oil. So we use generally Florentine flask, by which we can you can see here the water layer comes here and oil layer is here, and if we put more water, the water comes out and the oil remain in the same. Or more precisely, fractional distillation or vacuum distillation or molecular distillation can be used. So this is something about the, so in laboratory we can the steam distillation require more big infrastructure, but in lab we can estimate oil using the hydro distillation using the Clevenger apparatus. This is the photographs, this is wood, this is billets, this is powder, and by the, hydro distillation using Clevenger apparatus we can get the oil content. So now coming to the quality control, why it is important and what do you mean by quality? If we question ourselves, what does it mean by quality? Quality means a trust. Every consumer can't go for the laboratory for getting, if someone buy 1 ml or 2 ml sandalwood oil, he can't go to the laboratory. Laboratory itself requires 40-50 ml of oil for the testing. So as a consumer, there is very less chances that anybody can go to the laboratory for testing. The thing is the trust. Suppose KSDL is supplying good quality of the sandalwood oil, we can trust. No, it is good quality and it is 100% pure. So, and why it is important? Because I have shown it is it has the therapeutic and odoriferous properties. It has the medicinal property. So if any adulteration will be there, that will cause the not the benefit will not we will get that as much as, or rather we can get some problem also rather than benefit. So the quality matters. So the presence of some adulterants often leads to the modification of the property, especially of the therapeutic one, which are a result of synergistic effect of the all the constituent. If there will be adulteration, that will toxic effect will be there of that adulterants. And the issue of origin, quality, purity, adulterants can be dealt. The composition of the oil of the same plant may have variation depending upon the supplier, species, location. So and quality also facilitates marketing and guarantee of the safety and quality products. So how? Testing of sandalwood oil, how? There is two-way qualitative and quantitative assessment. And what are the different quality parameters? There is physical property, which is a specific gravity, solubility, optical rotation, refractive index, and in chemical properties, that acid value, saponification value, or ester value, or alcohol content, or carbonyl content, or depending upon the other oil, it can be more. Whereas the sensory evaluation is also there. So if we are using for the fragrance, sensory evaluation is also matters. You can see the photograph. Indian sandalwood oil has standard, that is 329. So we can more close, we can see the color, appearance, relative density, optical rotation, refractive index, ester content, total alcohol content, this total santalol content. These are a specification of the Indian sandalwood oil described in IS 329 2004, or it is also ISO 3518. It is more or less similar, 2002. So you can see. Now coming to the one by one, what is relative density or a specific gravity? A specific gravity is defined as the ratio of the density of a liquid compared to the density of pure water. Since the density of pure water varies with the temperature, it needs to specify the temperature of the pure water to useful usually define a specific gravity. Generally, the temperature standard chosen 15 or 20 or 27 degrees centigrade. In the case of the sandalwood oil, it is 27 degrees centigrade. We used to measure the specific gravity at 27 degrees centigrade. So this is a picnometer by which we can measure the specific gravity. And now digital specific gravity meter is also coming, by which this is a very simple process you can apply and it will give the result. So here specific gravity is the density of the substance and density of the reference. Here it is water. There is a refractive index. Refractive index is also a powerful tool to identify or to make the quality assurance of the sandalwood oil. What is the refractive index? Refractive index of a medium, the ratio of a speed of the light in air or vacuum, the speed of the light in medium. So refractive index is a speed of light in air or in that medium is the sample. This is the equipment for refractometer. We will describe here. You can see a schematic diagram of the refractometer and you can see here how it works. It's a very simple process. Only simple one drop is applied to the refractometer, and we used to see make the intersection of the cross, adjust borderline so that it will intersection of the cross and read the refractive index. There is a gauge, we can read directly the value of the refractometer. The next is optical rotation. What is optical rotation? This is a measure of optical activity of essential oils, and both the degree of rotation and its direction are important as a criteria of purity. So polarimeter is used to determine the optical rotation, and we can see polarimeter here. The optical rotation of sandalwood oil is -21 to -15. Angle of rotation is dependent upon the nature of oil, tube length, wavelength of the light used, temperature. So here you can see when the compound is achiral, the light that exit of the sample tube remains unchanged. See, you can see the after exit it remains. When the compound or the composition of the oil will chiral, it will rotate either levorotatory or dextrorotatory. So you can see if the chiral compounds are there, so the light will rotate. So with chiral compound, the place of polarized light is rotated through angle, some angle, and the angle is measured in degree and is called the observed rotation. And a compound that rotates polarized light is said to be optically active. So sandalwood oil is optically active because it gives the rotation of the polarimeter. The rotation of the plane polarized light can be clockwise or the counterclockwise. So if it is clockwise, it is dextrorotatory, and it is anti-clockwise, it is levorotatory. And if if we mix the clockwise, the enantiomer, if we can equal extent but the opposite direction. So that is called, if we mix the levorotatory or dextrorotatory 50-50, there will be no rotation. That is called known as the racemic mixture in the chemistry. So a specific rotation. The specific rotation is a standardized physical constant for the amount of a particular chiral compound that rotates the plane polarized light, and it is measured by this formula. And alpha is observed rotation, L is the length of the sample tube, and C is the concentration. So this is the next one is solubility and alcohol. So it is also a very important parameter, because if any adulteration will be there, the solubility will change. So we determine the solubility of the essential oil also, and this is expressed as the number of volume of dilute alcohol required for the complete solubility of the 1 volume of oil. So it is the term light clearly soluble. If it is not, the slightly hazy, or like that, cloudy. So the method is, the behavior of the oil is best described by the following typical notation. Clearly soluble in 10 volume of 70% alcohol. Like that, we used to describe. For example, solubility of lemongrass or even sandalwood oil is expressed as soluble in 3 volume of or 4 volume of 70% ethyl alcohol. with the slightly turbidity. So adulteration with a relatively insoluble material will often greatly affect the solubility, because castor oil, sometimes castor oil or any solvent has it will be mixed, then that solubility will change. So factors affecting the solubility: age, polymerization, adulteration, improper storage. If the oil is, if suppose the oil is sandalwood oil and stored improper, means exposure of moisture or light is there, then oil will be oxidized, then solubility will change. How solubility determine is, I will escape how to prepare the solution for the solubility. I will escape. Now come to the chemical properties. Chemical properties also the very significant for the quality assessment. And the first one, although it is not in Indian standard, but why I am showing this acid value? Acid value is not described in the Indian standard, because sandalwood oil is not having or acidic characteristics. So why? But if the oil is exposed to the moisture or get oxidized or polymerized, then acid will form. That acid value then comes, some value will come. So acid value is also one of the criteria, or one of the, for other oil which is having a carboxylic acid component, for which acid value matters. But for sandalwood there is no Indian standard. But if the sandalwood get deteriorated, acid value may come. Now the ester value. Ester value has description in the Indian standard. So what is ester value? The determination of ester content is of great importance in the evaluation of oil, including the sandalwood. So in which we used to sapnify the ester. In the case of sandalwood oil, it is a santallyl acetate using the alkali, and the excess alkali is back titrated with the blank. So, and with the using this formula, we can get the ester value. So here the ester value of the santallyl acetate is the molecular weight is 262.38. So using this formula, we can easily get the ester value, and it is a very important parameter for Indian standard also. The procedure of the determination of ester value: first we used 1.5 gram of the oil taken into 100 cc of flask, and 5 cc of neutral 95% alcohol and phenolphthalein, and it is neutralized by 0.1 aqueous sodium hydroxide. Then 10 cc of 0.5 normal alcoholic KOH or sodium hydroxide solution added, and it is attached to the condenser, and it is heated for 1 hour. And after removing the after cooling and removing the condenser, it is titrated, and with the standard solution of the 0.5 normal sodium hydrochloric acid. And as I told earlier, blank determination was also done, so that how much quantity of the acid was consumed to determine the ester value. The second one, the next one is alcohol value. What is the alcohol value? Suppose in sandalwood oil, santalol content is there. So we can calculate the total alcohol content using this formula. And here first oil is acetalized using acetic anhydride, and acetalized oil is further sapnify using the method as described in the ester value. So there is two-step process. First, the oil should be acetalized and esterified, the sapnify, and using this formula we can get the alcohol content. Here the santalol weight, molecular weight of santalol is 222.35 or 34. So it is we can easily get the total alcohol content. It is described in the Indian standard, and it is not less than 90% total alcohol content should be there. So it is detailed procedure of the alcohol content. Now the next one is also, it is also very important parameters, and also described in the Indian standard: determination of the steam distillation residue. Suppose some adulterants are added. So the oil is steam distilled, and it is non-volatile component is remain in the flask, and volatile means ki essential oil will come to this here, and we can easily calculate how much the non-volatile portion is there. So the steam distillation residue percentage is 100 minus A into 100 by B. Can use the A is the volume in ml of the steam volatile oil, and B is the mass in the of the sample taken. So it is also described in the Indian Standard 329. It is a very important parameter because if we add any adulterants, suppose like Santillacy, the synthetic molecule, which is have this sandalwood fragrance. So our dithylate, so it can be separated easily, and we can detect. Another one is gas chromatography study of the sandalwood oil. So here we can see this is the gas chromatography condition. Here we can get the alpha santalol and beta santalol content. What is the alpha santalol? Alpha santalol content is up to 55%, 45 to 55%, and beta santalol 16 to 24% content should be there. So it is also a very important parameter for the sandalwood oil of IS 329. Now you can see the adulteration in sandalwood oil. Sandalwood oil may also be faked by adding synthetic and semi-synthetic compounds, or by adding oil of other species as described by Sujata madam and Sasikala madam. You have seen that the many other species of same Santalum species genus is used or for the extraction of oil. So adulteration can be made using other species also. However, such adulteration affects the therapeutic property by the altering their chemical and physical property. For example, it can increase their allergic effect. And to ensure the quality of the sandalwood oil available on the market, various authors have suggested using advanced analytical method. Apart from the Indian standard, we can use GC mass. It is a very useful and very simple technique. And FTIR also, now it is used. One example, I am giving a case study of the sandalwood oil. In this case, this paper was also published in Journal of Essential Oil Bearing Plant. More than 40 samples from the market were taken and analyzed. So we found that the 33% of the sample were using actual sandalwood oil, and remaining in some of the sample they were having some sandalwood oil as well as some other adulterants, mainly diethyl phthalate and diethyl DHP, diethyl ethyl phthalate, and about 40% was not ethyl sandalwood. It was not a traces of sandalwood was there. So you can see up to 44% to 80% adulteration of this DHP and DEP was found. So you can imagine the quality what we are getting from the market. Now you can see I will be describing some 4 or 5 slides for the synthetic molecule. Now 1 ml of the sandalwood oil, actual sandalwood oil from the market, you can get for 1000 rupees, for 800 rupees means in retail it is more than 5 lakh rupees per kg. But these synthetic molecules are available 1000, 2000, 4000, 5000 rupees per kg, and it gives a strong sandalwood aroma. So it is a very easy to recreate the sandalwood fragrance, and you can also get the 1000 rupees for 1 ml and 100 rupees for 100 ml also. So what does it contain? Here I will is that many of us do not know the actual sandalwood fragrance. So whatever we are getting from the market, we are supposing, we are thinking that this is the sandalwood. And I will tell human nose is the best GC. GC or GLC, which I have described to get the alpha beta santalol content. So human nose can be trained with the actual sandalwood oil, we can most of the time we can get idea whether it is sandalwood oil, pure sandalwood oil, or it is synthetic one. So it is a very famous or very prominent bromnol, and it is used in perfume, soaps, and detergent. And it is not very close, but it is somehow it is closer to that sandalwood oil. So now again you can see another one, Primofix. Primofix is a synthetic compound. This is very close. 9,8 sandalwood oil has density is up to 9,8. Here it is also 9,8. Sandalwood oil having density 1.500. Here it is also 1.551. And it is also appearance. It is a pale yellow liquid with a powerful diffusive amber woody note with also vetiver and smoky nuisances there. But it is the product can be used to replace traditional materials such as sandalwood, vetiver, and patchouli. So you can see what is the extent of the if price can vary. May be available. I am not ideal price of that, but most maximum it may have a 4,000, 5,000 rupees per. The another one is also a cyclic terpene. You can see about 0.9 is its density 1.48, and it is also a clear, almost colorless liquid, appears like sandalwood oil with sandalwood odor. So for a common man, it appears to be a sandalwood oil. It is a clear, it colorless. Sandalwood oil is also colorless, and it has the sandalwood odor. So we can think it is a sandalwood oil. It is also woody. That is why in my first slide I show that the fragrance evaluation is also matters a lot. So it is not known to have been found in nature. It is not found in nature, not in a sandalwood Santalum album plant, in any other species. Used in perfumery as a top note, high quality sandalwood composition for the cosmetic, toiletry, and trade name is Osiris. Other one is this compound. It is also clear, colorless liquid. It is not found in, again it is not found in. It is used in perfume composition for soaps and household products. So you can see the sandalwood, there are many synthetic molecules are there. It is trade name is sandal Mysore core. It is sandalore. Name is sandalore. The trade name is such confusing that we can, it is something about sandal. So it is, you can see it is also is 0.9 about, and specific 1.4 is a sandalwood-like fragrance ingredient that does not occur in nature. It is also not found in the nature. Totally synthetic molecule, and this compound can be used either in pure state or as a mixture with its isomeric byproduct in perfume composition and soap perfume. So the price matters. If we are getting a soap of sandalwood having claim that it has the sandalwood, it 800 rupees, and another one is 50 rupees, that matters a lot what has been used. Again another one, polysantol. So you can see the most confusing name. The traders, the trade person are very smart. It used in a fine fragrance, and it is also it is a clear colorless liquid with a powerful diffuser sandalwood odor, and also some tinge of musk and cedarwood is also there. So you can see different type of. Another one, Javanol. It is a colorless viscous liquid. Viscosity also close to that sandalwood oil with a powerful sandalwood odor with creamy and rosy undernotes. It has a remarkably low order threshold. So why it is important? Remarkably low order threshold means most of the synthetic molecule having very strong threshold. A small ppm content, it smells very strong, but this molecule has a low threshold, low order threshold. That means closer to that sandalwood oil. So you can again another one. So there, sandalwood is one, oil is only one. You can see synthetic molecules are n number of synthetic molecules are there. It does not occur in nature, and it is the component responsible for the sandalwood odor of a synthetic mixture and broad range of fragrance it is used. The sandala. So in first I have shown that steam distillate, the sandala was mixed. Red name is sandala, sandaletti, IBCH, sandalex, sandif, but the molecule is same. Now this is ultimate. This is very recent innovation in the sandalwood scenario. Sandalwood oil without sandalwood tree. Here, the product was launched very recently, and earlier it was developed by some other company, but now taken over by BASF. It is a fermentation-based production of sandalwood oil replacement. So you can see here, the fermentation process yields alpha and beta santalol in a similar ratio to what in the sandalwood oil. The trade name is isobionics. Isobionics represents, santalol represents the hot note of the sandalwood oil and makes a close alternative to sandalwood oil. And it is said that instead of relying on a stressed and sandalwood tree, BSM claims that the ferments its product from the corn starch derived sugar using Rhodobacter sphaeroides. So it is a totally biotechnology based product. You can produce as much as you want. It can be produced in a very less time, in space, and crucially regulations in most area allow ingredient produced via fermentation to carry natural leavening. And you can see the price is about 60,000 rupees per kg in India. Now this is the two ultimate I'm not sure, but to the best of my knowledge, it can pass many of the sandalwood oil testing parameter which described in the either Indian standard or international, because the composition of the santalol is the almost similar to that of original sandalwood. So this was something about the sandalwood and can understand the quality is ultimately is the quality is the trust, because I mentioned in my first slide that there is a trust which matters. For the as far as the essential oil is concerned, you can discuss with the businessman or traders dealing with the essential oil. The business is almost totally depends upon the trust. So thank you very much for your kind listening. And if any questions are there, I am happy to answer, but I have another meeting. I will be back in half an hour or like that. And or you can reach to me, Rakesh @icfre.org. I apologize for that because I am having a very urgent meeting right now. So thank you very much once again. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Any questions for sir will be discussed later at the end of the session.
Okay.
After half an hour. Our next speaker is from KSDL, the Karnataka Soap and Detergent Limited. Dr. Chidanand N, Assistant Manager R&D and Perfumes at KSDL. Sir has an experience of 8 years in KSDL. His specialization is in synthetic organic chemistry. Has done PhD from Mangalore University in the topic Studies on some heterocyclic compounds of biological interest in the year 2013. Sir has published 16 research papers in national and international journals and presented 12 research papers in national and international conferences and seminars. Over to you, sir.
Good afternoon, everybody, and thanks for introduction. Are you hearing me? Hello?
You are audible but very low voice, sir. Please come
Okay.
nearer to the mic.
Okay. Okay, good afternoon, everybody.
Your shared
Today
panel is not visible, sir.
not visible slides.
No.
Slides are visible or not?
No, sir, it is not visible. Sir, if you can share it with us, we will put it on the screen. You can mail us.
Okay.
It is visible now.
Okay. Okay, today I am going to explain briefly about the sandalwood oil, current trade markets, and future prospects of sandalwood oil. And first of all, I am giving brief introduction about our company, the Mysore Karnataka Soaps and Detergents Limited, a major consumer of sandalwood oil in India. Government sandalwood oil factory was started in 1916 by the then Maharaja Sri Nalvadi Krishnaraja Vadayar and Sri M. Vishweswaraya. Government soap factory was established in Bangalore in 1918. Sri S.G. Shastri, a highly qualified industrial chemist, formulated Mysore sandal soap by the incorporation of natural sandalwood oil and introduced to the market in 1918. Karnataka Soaps and Detergents Limited, a public sector undertaking, became successor to Government Soap Factory in 1980. The prime products Mysore Sandalwood Oil and Mysore Sandal Soap are accredited with Geographical Indication Registry with numbers 29 and 30 during 2006 as per the Geographical Indication of Goods under the Intellectual Property of India. In addition to sandalwood oil and Mysore sandal soap, other premium and popular soaps, detergents, cosmetics, and agarbattis are also manufactured and marketed by the company. And this is the picture of sandalwood oil division located in Mysore, where sandalwood oil is extracted from sandalwood. After extracting sandalwood oil, the oil is transported to Bangalore head office, and here we are sandalwood oil is used for making of Mysore sandal soap. And let us see what are the significance of sandalwood and sandalwood oil. Sandalwood is the fragrant heartwood of some of the species of genus Santalum of family Santillacy. It is a partial root parasite and the tree produces scented heartwood and upon distillation gives sandalwood oil. And where it is used? This sandalwood oil used in perfumes. We can say sandalwood is the queen of essential oils, as it is required for all perfume formulations, cosmetics, flavors, beauty aids, and even in religious functions, both in our country as well as abroad. And it is also used in pharmaceuticals. The medicinal properties of sandalwood and sandalwood oil are mainly due to alpha and beta santallols. This alpha sandalol possesses antibacterial properties and beta sandalol possesses sedative properties. And it is also majorly used in cosmetics. Sandalwood oil finds application in cosmetic industries, especially in soaps, shower gels, shampoo, creams, talcum powder, lotions, hair oils, massage oils, aftershave lotion, astringent, bath oils, etc. And then it is used in traditional attar formation in India. The other applications of sandalwood oil is in the manufacture of incense sticks, scented tobacco, pan masala, etc. And now see how we are procuring sandalwood, rough sandalwood from farmers. First, the intimate case deal regarding availability of sandalwood trees in your premise or farmer's premise by writing the letter mentioning the girth of tree, age of tree, and if possible, photograph also. And they should inform their neighbors also for availability of sandalwood. Once we are receiving the letter, officers from KSDL will visit the premise for inspection of sandalwood tree and they will check the girth, height of the tree, etc. and heartwood formation. If the tree is suitable for harvesting, then MOU will be done or entered between the farmers and the KSDL. Once the MOU is done, the felling permission should be obtained by the farmer from their nearest forest department for harvesting or cutting. Once it is harvested, the wet rough wood is transported to Sandalwood Oil Division, Mysore, by the farmer. And this is the picture of testing girth of sandalwood tree, diameter of the sandalwood. It should be minimum 60 centimeter. And this is the cross section of the tree harvested from private party in Madhugiri, Bangalore. It is planted in 2012 and harvested in 2018 after 16 years of age, and around 27 metric tons of rough wood is obtained. And what are the steps involved in oil extraction process? After transferring that wet wood to Mysore Sandalwood Oil Division, it is allowed to natural drying for 2 to 3 or 3 to 4 months. After naturally dried, it is subjected to dressing. Means it is the separation of hardwood and sapwood. When it is separated, hardwood and sapwood, it is classified as per Forest Department rules. Around 20 classes are there. After proper classification, the certification will be done from ACF Mysore, from Mysore Forest Division. After certification by ACF Mysore, the final payment will be given to the farmer. Once it is final payment will be done, the classified hardwood is taken for a powdering process. This powdered sandalwood is then taken for steam distillation. And this is the flowchart of sandalwood oil extraction process. And we are the sandalwood is available in different sandal counties like Shivamogga, Dharwad, Mysore, their forest department. We are procuring sandalwood through e-auction and we are storing in our Mysore sandal division. Once it is stored, it is taken for bigger logs into smaller pieces or splitted into smaller pieces by axe machine. After that, chipping of smaller pieces into a small chips. Then it is taken for powdering. Smaller chips are powdered and it is filled in a bag. This powdered sandalwood is then charged to a stills for distillation, where steam is passed. And during this steam distillation, sandalwood oil passes along with steam and condenses is fitted to condense the sandalwood oil along with water. And it condenses and sandalwood oil and water mixture will be obtained. And in that stage, the separation of oil will be done. And this oil contains traces of some water. And this traces of water is removed by vacuum drying or filtration. And this vacuum dried or pure sandalwood oil is stored in aluminum tanks and then packed in 22 kg each containers, GI coated drums, and it is transported to Bangalore division for captive consumption for the making of soaps. And these are some classification of sandalwood as per forest department rules. And it is a very old classification. Now we are also following the same. It is the Vilayat Buddh class. These are the classification of Karnataka Forest Department. This is the China Buddh class of wood. They are majorly used for carving purpose. And this is the Panjam. And this is the Gotla type of wood. This is the Gatlbadla type of wood. This is the Bagardad. It also used for carving, majorly used for carving purpose. And this is the root class. In root, there are 3 types: root first, root second, and root third class. And next class is Einbagger. This consists of solid, cracked, and hollow pieces weighing not less than 450 grams. And this is the Cheria class of wood. And this is the Einchilta. Actually, majorly we are getting these type of wood purchasing from farmers. We are not getting the China Buddh or Bagradad or Vilayat Buddh type of wood. And this is the Hatri Chilta, consists of hardwood, chips, and having obtained lining billets with Hatri or Randa. And this is the Milwa Chilta, consists of pieces and chips having in fair proportions of hardwood and sapwood. And this is the Basola Bukni, consists of small hardwood and sapwood chips. And this is the actually waste, this one, sawdust powder and bark and waste. And after distillation of sandalwood, the sandalwood oil, pure sandalwood oil is stored like these GI coated drums and transferred to Bangalore complex. And production of sandalwood oil in KSDL. Sandalwood oil distillation was first started during 1718 at Sandalwood Oil Factory, Mysore, and produced about 52 metric tons of sandalwood oil during the above year. Apart from captive consumption for the production of Mysore sandal soap, company also exported sandalwood oil to different countries till 1918. After that, the production is decreased. The produced sandalwood oil is utilized for making of soaps only. They are not exported. And it is already discussed about specification of sandalwood and their adulteration is derived from Indian standard 329 2004. We are following same specification for sandalwood oil testing. And let us see outlook for sandalwood production and market in next 20 years. In India, the annual official harvest of sandalwood was 300 to 370 air-dried tonnage hardwood in 2008 and 12. But the total production in 2011 to 12 was estimated at 1,250 air-dried tonnage hardwood, with 1,000 air-dried tonnage hardwood associated with illegal harvesting. Because nowadays, majorly the sandalwood is harvested illegally because of some smuggling activities. Hence, the clear picture we are not getting about the what quantity of wood is harvested. By 2040, the production of sandalwood from wild sources will substantially have been overtaken by that derived from planted. Because nowadays the naturally grown sandalwood is diminished, only it is available in plantations. There has been considerable private sector interest in developing sandalwood plantations, including more northern locations such as Andhra Pradesh, Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, and Rajasthan, where this species does not naturally occur. The area currently planted to sandalwood in India is estimated to have grown dramatically in the past 6 years to an estimated 30,000 hectares. The Indian plantations of Santalum album are estimated to produce about 8 air-dried tonnage hardwood per hectare on a 25 to 30-year rotation. It is estimated that about 1,000 hectares of 25 to 30 years of old sandalwood plantation will be harvested per year in 2040, producing 8,000 air-dried tonnage hardwood with an average oil content of 2.5% to 3%. Because in harvested sandalwood, the oil content will be less because they are harvesting in minimum age, that is minimum 14 years age. Hence, the oil content will be less. It is estimated that wild stands that is naturally grown will produce 2,000 air-dried tonnage with an average oil content of 5%. The market outlook and prices for sandalwood, hardwood, and sandalwood oil of high quality, that is with high levels of sandalwood contents and attaining ISO or meets the BASC standards, are expected to remain high in coming days. This is for pure sandalwood. The global sandalwood oil market is predicted to double in value over the next 5 years because of scarcity. In India, the local demand for sandalwood oil is estimated at a minimum 250 metric tons per year in next 15 years. However, it is difficult to predict the quantity and quality of sandal, hardwood, and sandalwood oil due to following reasons. Uncertainties in the production and maturation times. New plantations are mainly in non-traditional sandalwood growing areas. The growth rates and hardwood development rates are uncertain. Impacts of sandalwood spike and pest diseases and illegal harvesting. Because of these 5 factors, it is not able to clearly we can predict what are the hardwood formation available in 15 to 20 years. And how KSDL works for farmers and how it helps for sandalwood. Actual KSDL requires around 5 metric tons of sandalwood oil per year for the production of sandal soap and other variants. For this 5 metric tons of hardwood oil, we require around 112 metric tons of hardwood class of wood. For getting these 112 metric tons of hardwood class, around 1,120 metric tons of rough sandalwood, that is procured from farmers, is required in the ratio of 10% yield of hardwood and 4.5% of sandalwood oil from hardwood. At present, KSDL entered around MOU with around 679 farmers and having the area of land area of 3,665 acres. It is only in Karnataka. And what are the role of KSDL? KSDL is successful records in measuring partnership on a share and prosper basis in scientific and commercial cultivation of sandalwood for the future economic benefit of both growers and the company. KSDL is continuing its entering MOU with the farmers for ensuring buyback arrangements for growing sandalwood on commercial plantation with other host plants spread over more than 3,000 acres in the state, this Karnataka state. So far, more than 679 farmers of the state have entered into biparty agreement with the company for commercial cultivation of sandalwood, and equal number of farmers or growers have showing keen interest for growing sandalwood trees. Further, several hundreds of farmers have availed consultancy services for commercial cultivation of sandalwood. This momentum has been growing steadily in the state of Karnataka and even spreading to the neighboring states. And for to grow more and more sandalwood and marketing, what is the role of government? It is needed to simplify the regulatory regime regarding felling and transit regulations for tree species grown on non-forest and private lands, and special incentives to the growers in the form of subsidies for cultivation, protection, and technological upgradation of security systems to be provided. A uniform law for the entire country on use and transport of sandalwood may help in the improvement of overall status of sandalwood and sandalwood oil in the country. And what are the vision and mission of KSDL? Our vision to produce the best quality natural sandalwood and oil from soil to oil from the legal and ethical sources on sustainable basis towards national prosperity through commercial cultivation of natural sandalwood to produce the best quality natural sandalwood oil products like soaps, cosmetics, perfumes through continuous revolutionized innovations for both new and existing product lines to meet the global standards. KSDL Research Center is continuously working on upgrading the sandalwood oil incorporated products quality formulation of all the products like soaps, cosmetics, including newer products with the heightened regulatory measures to meet the highest international quality standards with ensure the compliance of FDA and REACH. The major thrust of R&D is committed for developing the natural essential oil-based products using natural sandalwood oil as base to achieve the new model of competitiveness, maximize customer satisfaction to meet the customer requirements and expectations. And KSDL is creating opportunities for future generation by unique economic growth for the many numbers of farmers to embrace the advantages and quality of life. KSDL basic philosophy is to share and prosper together we can and we will by making buyback arrangement with many numbers of farmers under Grow More Sandalwood scheme. The scheme will enrich the farmers and creating existing opportunities in the coming years. Our vision is to make India to regain the glory of the past, the largest producer of Santalum album in the coming years by making buyback arrangement with the potential growers, farmers and entrepreneurs by giving scientific and marketing support from time to time on Indian sandalwood industry and the global scenario. And these are the products where sandalwood oil used and produced by Karnataka Soaps and Detergents Limited. This is the Mysore sandalwood oil, and this is the Mysore sandal soap for 75 gram. It is also available in 150 gram and 125 gram, 100 gram variants. And it is 3 in 1 pack of 150 gram each. The next variant is Mysore Sandal Gold and Mysore Sandal Baby Soap. And this is the super premium soap, Mysore Sandal Millennium. And the 6 soaps are gold soaps are packed in a single container. And this is the Mysore Sandal Classic soap, having more moisturizing properties for winter season. And this is the Mysore Sandal Centennial soap, which is launched in 2018, 2016 during the 100-year celebration. And this is the Mysore Sandal body wash. The recently launched sandalwood oil containing products are baby shampoo, baby massage oil, that's Mysore Sandal face pack, this is the Mysore Sandal soup massage oil, and these are the old products. There is Mysore Sandal talc and Mysore Sandal baby talc. And this is the Mysore Sandal dope, which is produced by using spent wood after distillation of sandalwood oil. It is produced in SOD Mysore. And we are exporting our sandalwood oil incorporated products to following countries like USA, London, Dubai, Singapore, Malaysia, Taiwan, Iraq, Kuwait, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, Hungary, Oman, China, and Korea and Japan. For these countries, we are exporting sandalwood oil incorporated soaps. Okay, thank you very much for hearing. And I thankful to our Managing Director, Sri Mahesh Shirur, and Chairman, Board of Directors, and Organized Committee, IWST Bangalore, for giving opportunity to present and share my experience. Thank you, one and all. Hmm. ಈಗ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಇಲ್ಲ.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome.
Any other general questions to any other speakers over here?
Video off ಮಾಡಿ.
There are a few questions in the chat box. So one person has asked whether fresh wood can be used for identification or dried wood. Madam Sujata will answer this.
Fresh as well as dried wood can be used for identification. Sir, if you want to send samples to us, you can visit our website. Size is 5 centimeter by 5 centimeter by 10 centimeter or 15 centimeter. Details we have given everything in our website. You can visit and send the sample. Fresh as well as fresh you can send, or dried also you can send.
Is there any method for hardwood in field itself? Any other questions? The panel is open for the discussion. So one more question has come. Is synthetic oil used for soap? Dr. Chidanand, will you please answer it, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Is synthetic oil used for soap?
No, madam, we are not using synthetic oils. Actually, we are don't know about that, what they are presented about 2-3 molecules. We are using only natural sandalwood oil extracted from sandalwood only.
Okay, sir. Thank you. And there's one more question over here. Minimum area for cultivation for farmers to enter buyback agreements. Is there any minimum area for cultivation?
Actually, minimum 1 hectare, that is 2.5 acres is required, ma'am, for making buyback arrangement, that is MOU, for entering into MOU.
Thank you, sir. Any more questions, anyone?
One thing, madam, if some plants are available in farmers or people's land, they can approach to us to sell in even in single tree also. For that, after that, we are inspection, we are making the MOU for harvesting.
Fine, sir. And Mr. Venkat has asked a question over here. What is the future of sandal cultivation?
Actually, already explained. Nowadays, more and more farmers are coming forward to grow sandalwood trees, and many agencies are also growing.
Dr. Chidananji?
Yes, sir. Tell me, sir.
Actually, in your presentation, you told that there are around 20 grades in which sandal is being graded. while purchasing by KSDL.
Yes, sir.
Is it right?
Total 20, sir. Out of that, we are receiving only 3-4 classes like Ain Bagar, Ain Chilta, and Hatri Chita, like classes of sandalwood from farmers. And that Vilayat Buddha, China Buddha, we are receiving from only from Forest Department e-actions. That class of wood is not available in farmers because of lower maturation time. In farmers, only we are receiving that type of Ain Bagar, Ain Chilta class of wood only, sir, and root class.
Okay, so basically there are only 3-4 grades under which you are purchasing.
Yes, sir. From farmers, we are getting after classification from that rough wood. We are getting only that class of 3 to 4 classes of wood, including that root class. And that Jajpokal, Vilayat Budh, China Budh, and Bagirdat type of wood are getting only from Forest Department e-actions.
And what is the price range which is attached along with the grades? Any if you want to give?
Actually, as per government fixed rate, sir, Karnataka state government fixed rate, and KSDL also amended for higher class wood, and we are giving KSDL rates.
What is the price range for different grades, like grade 1, grade 2, grade 3, grade 4, the grades what you told? Range of price, if you can tell to the participants, would be great.
For this is the KSDL rate we are giving to farmers. That Vilayat Budh class around 7,865 rupees per kg, and for China Budh class 8,333 rupees, and for Panjam class it is 7,553. And for majority of classes, we are getting Ain Chilta class from farmers. It is around 4,380 rupees. And for Hatri Chilta, 2,580 rupees per kg. And Milwa Chilta, 2,153 rupees. And Basola Bukni class, 1,728 rupees. And for which class you are asking the price, sir?
In general, I'm asking what are the grades under which the sandalwood is being purchased by KSDL?
Sir, actually it is KSDL approved rates. These are KSDL approved rates, and it is similar to government, state government fixed rates. But we are not given that higher class rates because we are not getting that type of wood. Because of immature, that is farmers are eager to sell within 14 years, and after 20 years, 20 to 25 years, we are getting Vilayat Budh, China Budh, or Panjam classes wood.
And roots are coming under which class? Sandalwood.
It is a separate class, root 1 and 3, 1, 2, 3.
Okay, okay.
It is around 4,500 rupees per kg is there, sir.
And what about the sandalwood oil? Any range you can tell?
They are selling 5 ml and 10 ml bottles. For that, 3,000 and 5,800 for 10 ml. And per kg, it comes around 2,50,000 approximate this cost, oil rate.
Okay, thank you. Now, I think Nitin Patel जी कुछ पूछना चाह रहे हैं.
चिदानंद जी, आपने अभी बताया कि बुद्धा वगैरह जो है इसमें से ऑयल निकलेगा, तो क्या डिफरेंस होता है हर एक ऑयल के अंदर कंटेंट में टेक्निकली?
सर ऑयल कंटेंट में डिफरेंट होगा. We are getting around 14 years aged trees now. In that, we are getting only around 3 to 3.5% oil yield. If maturation time is more than 20 or 30 years, we are getting higher yield. That is 4.5 to 5%.
ऑयल परसेंटेज में डिफरेंस हो सकता है, क्वालिटी में डिफरेंस होता है?
क्वालिटी में उतना डिफरेंस नहीं होगा सर. That sand oil content will be same.
Okay.
that alpha and beta content should be same, but oil yield content will be differed because
Okay.
of maturity time.
Okay, okay, sir.
If you are growing more and more years, means we can earning more.
Yes.
There's one more question from the participant side. What are the process of your mode of money payment to the farmers?
Okay, first, while we are transferring that wet wood to SOD division, we are working out that how much wood is received. On basis, we are how much hard wood will be obtained, we estimating. And for that, for estimation wood, we are paying around 20% payment initially. And after 2 to 3 months of drying, or sometimes it requires 3 to 4 months, after we are doing for that classification. That classification will be done. After that, we are calculating exact price for each class, and final payment will be done after certification from ACF for Mysore.
And the last question is, sir, what is the process of back agreement to farmer to company? Is there any back agreement to the farmer and the company?
Yes, madam. Actually, presently we are making MOU with only with the Karnataka farmers, and they have to submit all their land documents, and there is a one format to fill that one, and we will do the MOU. Now, presently, we are doing that MOU agreement only in Karnataka. We are trying to extend all over India. It is under discussion.
Thank you, sir. Our next speaker for today, Dr. B.N. Divakar, Scientist F in Silviculture and Forest Management, SFM Division, IWST. Sir will be speaking up on electric resistance tomograph, a novel technology in estimation of hardwood in sandalwood trees. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everybody. This is Dr. Divakar. I am working on the estimation of hardwood content in sandalwood standing trees. We are having a all-India coordinated research project on this, and we are visiting different plantations in Karnataka, and we have recorded good number of trees for hardwood estimation. And this is the electric resistor. See, until now, we were estimating the hardwood content or hardwood part in the sandalwood trees by first stage was the morphological identification. When we see this morphological identification, the cracks on the bark was the very, very distinct bark cracks, which were the visible part. And by this, we were roughly able to identify, yes, the hardwood formation has started in a standing tree or not. Once it is formed, next was to know the hardwood content by using the manual increment borer. This was the next step. But some people may have this or may not have. They can take the help of the any research institution having this and know the hardwood content. And there was another method, the power increment borer. With this also we can estimate the hardwood content. But with all this estimation of hardwood content, there was one problem was the invasiveness. That means we used to make a borehole of 6 mm, where this chance of infection or chance of spore entry or disease or pest problem may arise. So to overcome this, we developed a technology called electric resonant tomograph technology. This was a non-destructive customized tool for especially it was imported from Germany, and this was developed to monitor and estimate the tree growth, looking into the structure for the estimation of the hardwood, sapwood, and also the decay in the standing trees. Main principle in this electric resonant tomograph is the higher moisture content in the sapwood compared to hardwood in trees. This was encashed by based on this water content, also the iron content in the sapwood, there was a high conductance and low resistivity in sapwood than heartwood. So this decline in moisture content and the resistivity variation pattern in the heartwood and sapwood helps us to demarcate into two different zones. And that was one of the basic idea which was used for understanding the heartwood and sapwood content. And also the same resistivity pattern when we observe for decayed trees, it was very distinct. That helped us to make it very clear, yes, the heartwood can be estimated using electrical tomograph. In this, we are not having any damage to the tree, and this was earlier applied in various tree species by Baker and Rust in 2010 and also Lin et al. In 2012. Many of the temperate trees. Why the electrical is novel? Why it is novel? Because this has the advantage of estimation, the heartwood presence or absence, or also if it is there, what is the extent, and it also helps further to know the healthiness of the trees, whether it is a decay or hollowness in the tree, that can also be known. It is usually used by what you call, by putting the sensors all on the tree trunk, and we are capturing, and image will be developed, and that will be analyzed. This is of the instrument which we are seeing here. It's a very portable. It is just 4 kgs, weighing 4 kgs, and we can put into all along the tree trunk and estimate the heartwood content. This is how this instrument is, and when we pass the current from this number 1 sensor, it moves to all the sensors, and that image is captured. And that image, what is being captured in this electric tomograph, can be read using the Treetronic software on the computer, and that can be image further can be analyzed for the width of the heartwood content or the diameter of the heartwood content, and also the percentage of heartwood can be estimated, and the valuation of the tree can also be done. This is how the image being developed. This is for teak disc we dried, and this is the image we developed, and we are having the schematic advantages, means representation of advantage of ERTs. One is it is non-destructive, easy to set up, portable, it is having GPS positions, automatic height can be detected, semi-automatic, and also the multiple measurements can be taken at a single tree. It's having multiple electro-resistive system, and this is very helpful for capturing at different heights and making the 3D diagrams also. We just compared the electrical tomograph with other techniques which is already there working. When we compared with increment borer, sonic tomograph, and electric impedance tomograph, the electrical tomograph is very friendly and also useful, simple, as it develops the 3-dimensional structure, and is not having any invasiveness, which is having a very minor or not at all any damage on the trees. We did initially with in our workshop by taking the tree stump, the sandalwood tree stump, and we measured at 3 heights, and we measured after cutting we measured at using scale, and also the images were developed in ERT, and the images were measured. After measuring these images, we calculated nearly some 86% similarity was there with this stump data what we collected manually, means actually, and also ERT. And next we moved to the sandalwood trees and standing trees, and we measured and we got the 3D diagrams measured at different heights. This also showed very encouraging results, and here the calculation when we saw, it was 86% similarity we found with the tree. We measured at 2 heights, one is 20 centimeter above the tree and 109 centimeter above the ground level. And after knowing this, we came to know 86% similarity in stumps, and which was tree was cut, and the standing tree it was 86%. And then we worked further in Namdari plantation, which is of 30-acre plantation was there, and sandalwood grown with Rhytia tinctoria as host. In this, we measured the ERT, and also actual readings were taken after cutting the trees, and this was the harvested logs and branches. And when we put it in the linear graph, the equation, this is the resistivity pattern which is depicted on the wood, and also the R square value was 0.95%, which was very encouraging, and the similarity with the hardwood contents was almost 90% similarity we could get, and really it was very encouraging. And further we are working this instrument, and we are visiting different farmlands for this. And further we took this instrument to analyze the decay content in the standing trees. Of course, these trees what you are seeing is some of the casuarinas, eucalyptus, and gulmour trees. And this was the fruiting bodies, and the oozing of sap was seen. And these were further analyzed using this ERT. We took the readings at that height where the decay was found on the fruiting body was seen. And we found that the resistance is falling down in the center where actually should have been sound wood and hardwood would have been there. The resistance falling from to 7, 6, 3, 4 likewise. The sudden fall of the resistance indicates that the hardwood is decayed there. And when we calculate what is the extent of the decay, we took another 2 readings and 2 different heights. And this 2D structure was taken at 3D structures. And by this, we were able to estimate the total damage to the bole height. Whatever the bole height was there, we analyzed. It was very damaging. Nearly some 40 to 50% of the total trunk was decayed. Thank you very much. And this is how we are using this equipment. If any trees related to sandal having this disease or hollowness in Karnataka, you can just call me or you can be in touch so that we will visit the field and we will estimate even in sandal also.
Thank you, sir. Any questions from the participant side?
Actually, now we are coming with a proposal where it will be approved from the DG ICFRE. Per tree, how much may be the cost? We are working on it so that any farmers interested or any private parties interested, they can hire our equipment or our services and they can pay that.
Any questions? I request Dr. Anil Sethi, Scientist E, to deliver the vote of thanks.
Director, Group Coordinator Research, Head Extension, Head of the Divisions, my colleagues, dear participants. We have now come to the end of today's webinar on identification, analysis, and adulterants of sandalwood and its soil. It's my pleasure to deliver the vote of thanks on behalf of IWST. So at the outset, I would like to thank our director, MP Singh sir, for his constant guidance in organizing this webinar. I also thank our Group Coordinator Research, Setup and our sir, and Sri CM Shiv Kumar, Head Extension Division, for their constant support in organizing this webinar. I'd like to take this opportunity to express our sincere thanks to all the speakers, Dr. M. Sujata, Mrs. S. Sasigala, Dr. Rakesh Kumar, P.N. Divakar, and Dr. Siddhanandji for accepting our invitation and delivering lectures. I extend our sincere thanks to all the participants who have joined this webinar from different parts of the country and actively participating in the discussion also. I'd also like to thank Head WPU Division, Dr. Sukha, for managing the technical sessions and meticulously planning the lectures. Last but not the least, I would like to thank all the staff members of WPU Division and IT Cell for their active support in organizing this webinar. Thank you, one and all.
There's one question from the participant. What is the price of ERT equipment? Ma'am, it is ranged to 8 to 10 lakhs, ma'am. Any other questions from the participant side? Dear participants, if you have any other questions, you may contact us through the email of IWST and also through phone numbers which are available in the website. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much to all the participants for joining and sparing your time for this webinar. We are here to help you out in any technical matter or wood identification, sandalwood identification. You can visit our institute website and have the more information on the testing part as well as the sandalwood or red sandal, different trainings and testings. Thank you one and all. Thanks.
Thank you, sir.